And so it begins. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another Master Circuit Wild Card Day here at PlayStation Tournaments. We've had one before, but then we had some holidays in between. So let me be the first to wish you officially on our broadcast Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrated it. Happy holidays for those who are getting into the December mood. I know I am for sure. Our tree is already up in the house, and I'm very, very excited to continue with the festivities here as we have a brand new day of action for Apex PlayStation Tournaments. My name is Rain Day, and I am joined by my partner in crime. It's been a minute. I hope she's had a great time. It's so fun to be back with her. Girl, how you feeling today? Ready for a great day of Apex? Well, you were muted, girl, but go ahead, give me that intro. And
hello.
I think I heard you, but I think you're now being brought to our broadcast. We're going to have a lot of time to talk with Girl as well over the day, so do not fret. I know a lot of fans in the chat waiting to hear from her. Let's just go quickly over the format because we've got it on your screen. This is the Wild Cards qualifier, so it's not our grand finals. It leads up to that, but trios, as you're comfortable with in Apex if you're watching that, up to 20 teams. I think we have 20, and then we've got 5 games to be played, and that is really the biggest difference if you're used to watching the LGS or something else. We have one less game, and it actually means that the games matter more. So this is one of those interesting elements. Girl, I know you're back with us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you got to do to win those games, though. It's all about the points.
All right, sorry about that. Well, the point system, let's get into it. So for first place, racks you up 12 points. Second place, you'll earn 9 points. For third place, you'll earn 7. Fourth place, you'll earn 5 points. And reverse for fifth place, you'll earn 4. 6th to 7th will earn 3 points. 8th to 10th will earn 2 points. And 11th to 15th, you'll only earn 1 point. And each elimination on top of that will grant you 1 point. So the more kills, the higher placement you get, the more points you get, the easier it is to win.
Gotta just say that, if you're checking out our tweets right now, Girl, perfectly formatted tweet for heading into the Master Circuit. We always keep you up to date as to what you could expect here. So if you're following us along, whether it's Twitter, whether it's here on the show, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, we appreciate you. All channels, PlayStation is where we're broadcasting this. In terms of the pricing, let's talk about it. $600 for our winner. Second gets $300, and so on and so forth. As you go down to third and fourth, they'll each get a cool $150. But 5th through 10th will also get a seat in our seasonal final. And not to be confused, 1st through 4th will also get a seat. You don't just get money and then miss out on the final like, oh man, I wish, maybe I should have changed. No, we allow everybody who top 10s to get into the final, and that's actually one of the biggest things that we can see. But of course, let's take a look at the teams who will be fighting for that elusive spot in the final, Girl. Some familiar names and some newcomers.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of familiar names. Got a trio, Hakeem's, XFF, Red Faye, 2 Minute Esport. All played in the last week. We don't play. They won 3 games back-to-back. Definitely excited to see them. We've got Viper Squadron as well. Very formidable team. It's going to be a lot of good gameplay today, Rain Day.
Well, I'm excited for it as well. If you're interested in getting involved in this and seeing how the iterations of this come to pass and maybe how you can start becoming more involved in PlayStation tournaments, PlayStation esports, check out compete.playstation.com. They will have all of your answers there, and that's how you actually can sign up, win prizes, get engaged with what we have going on over the months of December and January. And guess what? It is a lot. There are a few new things happening over December and January we'd love to key you in on. That is, of course, our Win-a-thon. You can rack up wins in PlayStation tournaments through all of December and January for a chance to win prizes like the new DualSense Edge controller or PS5 consoles. Sign up on console, start competing for prizes today. Full rules can be read on compete.playstation.com. All right, Girl. Obviously, a lot of people hopefully in the chat looking and getting interested in that. We've got Map 1 coming up, and it starts us off in a conversation about Apex that we haven't had in a minute. But for you, because, you weren't there for the intro, you had a little mute issue there. Let's get back to the intro. How you feeling? You excited? And what are you looking forward to? What's been your couple weeks like since we've seen you last for our first wild card?
First of all, I wonder if anyone in chat could actually lip read what I was saying. But anyways, I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back. Super excited. Watch a lot of Apex Legends tournaments over the past few weeks. I've even got one coming up, so I'm going to learn a lot here. watching everyone play, casting everyone play. Hopefully, maybe I can learn some new tricks. But yeah, I'm super excited. Broken Moon as well. That was really exciting to watch last time. A lot of fast-paced action.
Yeah, Broken Moon was a lot of fun for sure, and I think you hit the nail on the head of how many tournaments are happening. It feels like Apex is in full swing competitively yet again after a brief hiatus, and that's great for the Master Circuit to be picking up here as well. We have a cool finale kind of coming between December and January where we'll be kind of building up on these tournaments. We'll have one in, I believe, 10 days from now again. We'll have another one before the year's over, and then one, I believe, in January. So a lot to look forward to, a lot of action here for everyone else. I'm just excited, too, though, because we do get to see a new ability on display, hopefully. And I got a little bit of it. Some ferrofluid actually fell onto my desk. I don't know if you're seeing this, girl, but I have been carrying around ferrofluid for a long time. That's right. That's right. Catalyst is here. What do you think about the newest Legend, girl, and how Catalyst is shaping up to impact the meta?
I love Catalyst for how she can hold down a building, but I also love her more for the wall at the end. Like, once the zone closes, she can just put that zone in half, fight one side of the wall, and be okay. I've seen it happen a few times in ALGS already, so that's been fun. The 2 versus 3 happening the other day with the Catalyst in the EMEA region was mind-blowing to me, but yeah, I can't wait to see her again.
I've heard... I had someone on my stream call about it as we're still loading up, getting ready to go into these lobbies, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. I had someone in my stream say that it was terrible. They said that the Dark Veil was terrible. Now, this isn't a pro player. This is just someone who watches my stream. But I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that. There has been maybe a bit of divisiveness in terms of, is Catalyst good, is Catalyst not? But that's normal. What side do you lean on? Is it that Catalyst has a good value, should be utilized more? Or that maybe she's just got some early game hype and people are using her because she's the newest Legend?
I think it's play style, honestly. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you're good with. I feel like any pro players can make anything work. She obviously has her advantages and her disadvantages like every other Legend. So you just got to be able to work with her abilities. If you can, if it suits you, if you guys are comfortable after working with her for a few weeks. If not, if that's not your play style, the defensiveness, hiding behind a wall, playing it slow. Some teams like Bloodhound Bangalore play it fast, play it quick, get a full team wipe, and then Catalyst kind of slows things down, kind of secludes you from other teams. I think she can work well for the right team.
Well, it is about, what team composition that you do put the Catalyst in, and that's the same thing for all of these Legends. We've seen a variety of different choices come through, even including Lobas and Mad Maggies. I know one of the more unusual compositions that I saw a team playing on Sunday in the ALGS was actually a Loba, a Maggie, and a Valkyrie, showcasing that, having traditional maybe defensive setups or traditional offensive setups or kind of hybrid styles, people are really going out into the wind to say, let's figure something out, because this is still anybody's ball game. But as we get close to land and as the year goes on, we start to see these things solidify. So let me lean it back to you. What do you think is the Legend meta? Where do you think it's developing? We're seeing a lot of different choices. Do you think it's going to land somewhere, or everyone's going to go, all right, this is the comp, like these 2 comps are the ones that you really got to be running. Otherwise, you're going to be playing a second-tier composition?
The way it's going, and from what I've seen lately, no. And I prefer it not to be, because watching it and watching people play different Legend comps, it's just so fun. It's entertaining to watch people do different things rather than, the same math equation solved the same way with, Seer, Valkyrie, and Horizon or something like that. So I like to see the versatility and the variety from everyone. And I think, if everyone decides to go on the same Legend comp, the team that stands out and picks the opposite of that and like the counter to it, I think they're going to end up winning or gaining a lot from it. So I don't think people will all choose the same Legend comp, because then it'll be easy for them to get countered in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I did actually think that you said deer instead of seer originally.
Did
I think that my mind is just on the holidays. But I do also agree with you that there's like a variety of legends that people are starting to like. I feel like we've seen like the interest of legend metas that have worked in the past at like let's say ALGS championships like Valkyrie and Newcastle and Watson. We've seen that iteration come to this meta, and it's worked for several teams. We've also seen it, be not successful for some. Some have just taken the Watson from that, where Watson was actually reintroduced to, I think, from the APAC North region. They played a lot of Watson, Yuka specifically on Fnatic, who was there, and just one of the most incredible individual players, put them in a position to be in that final circle so many times. And I think so that's been kind of an addition through the experience we've seen. We've also, though, seen, I think, crypto come into play. And that's something our Master Circuit has been very, very good about, introducing the crypto, making incredible crypto plays, whether it's with a Trident and a Bangalore or whether it's by itself, obviously referencing the Ultimate Lovers trio there. I think that we are in for a treat when it comes not only to Broken Moon, but to our legend diversity in this season. And it is a great time to be a fan of competitive Apex.
You know what I think it's never going to leave unless he gets nerfed?
Who's not going to leave?
I don't
Seer?
think Seer is ever going to leave the competitive scene. You guessed it. Yeah.
Well, deer is what we're calling Seer today. That's
no,
how
I did not. I don't think I said that. I hope
not. No. That was me thinking. Let's see. Let's take a look at these legends, though. We do see a lot of Seers. We do see TXC back with Sarah Sutcliffe and Shigum and Raymond. That's an interesting shift. So we're seeing Shigum kind of take a mainstay spot. Sarah coming back in. Wow, that's going to be some interesting conversation points as well. Clearly, either having some timing issues in terms of getting the whole team together, or having a lot of back and forths in terms of who should be on that lineup when it comes to game day. All the while, though, it's a great story to be told. I do want to say, big Pathfinder, already 2, I'm seeing girl coming back. Is that possible that we could really see Pathfinder come back into this meta? Every time I see it, I just don't really believe it, but it's working.
Yeah, Pathfinder is really good for creating space, just not great for building fights, Biggest hitbox in the building, doesn't really contribute much in a building as well. Ziplines aren't going to do anything, grapples aren't really going to help much. So you just got to utilize Pathfinder in the open space, take angles, be aggressive, and take angles as well. Like maybe around building fights while you're not in it, you could still take angles, because lots of these buildings have many different windows or doors to enter. So Pathfinder can make good entries that way. And Viper Squadron's already in a 50-50 here. Assassin with the Prowler just beaming, not missing a single shot with that Prowler.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, that is a dangerous weapon. I have fallen a victim to kind of writing the Prowler off, as it has never been the weapon for me that I think gravitated towards, and I feel like that's part of something we don't really talk about too much in terms of how we choose our loadouts, right? You kind of always think that there is this premier loadout in a game like this with so many stats, so many bullets, you would assume. But there's not. I mean, there's definitely a feel to it that players are more comfortable with, and whether it means because you're on controller, or whether you're on mouse and keyboard, or whether it's just games that you've grown up with. You played a lot of Halo, you probably love the Prowler. I mean, if you haven't, maybe that weapon doesn't sing the way it does to some other players who are more familiar with that 5-shot burst. I certainly feel less comfortable with that than a Hemlock in my hand, which I really do like.
Yeah, I think the Prowler is very known for being a controller weapon. All the controller players can use it, but if you're on mouse and keyboard, maybe not for you, because it's so hard to hit. I mean, I used to actually main Prowler a long time ago, but ever since it changed, it just has not been the same. Sad to see Viper Squadron lose one already so early, though. They got a win last EU wildcards, first one, and it looks like Twiggy's going to go down as well, so that's 2 down. That's all of Viper Squadron eliminated already.
Not what they wanted in terms of the start there. FMA.
Whew.
You wonder if that's Full Metal Alchemist or if that's just full mode attack. It seems like they were on either one of those. Titans starting off strong and elevated with a first knock and continuing forward to G7 from Kuna. Looks down. It's going to take a little bit of fire and hit the Bloodhound scan, though, to stay safe and get back with the team. Decent start for them. 12 squads left. We do have a smaller lobby girl in terms of today, so that will also make a bit of a difference in terms of everyone's comfort level in rotating, taking fights earlier, knowing you're not going to get aggressed on in the same way that you would if you had a full lobby.
Yeah, absolutely. And the E of 8, gold E of 8, in fact, is going to help with that. You're going to get a beacon scan. Where it has get ahead of the pack for that end zone ring. I wonder where it's pulling. Doesn't seem too far away from them, though, so they'll be able to get a good rotate, especially with these zip rails. How have you been enjoying the zip rails lately?
Oh, I love them. I just feel like they're such a good addition to the game, and they bring so much movement, which Apex is known for right there. Not a lot of movement for AXFF team as Ramo plays. Takes that one and adds another kill to the tally, making it 3 in total and ending a squad's attempt at running away. But the zip lines have been a really unique change to the map and the map structure. We've had tridents, we've had balloons, we've had so many different things that the map has given us. But I feel like zip lines, they're a top 1 or 2 for me. I think they might be my favorite movement that a map has.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. 100%. Just, they're so fast, hard to get shot off of, so you don't have to be too worried. You can jump off and fight.
Right.
They're pretty amazing. Hakim's, they've got Ahmed back up. Ahmed's going to heal. Very slowly, but look at that. They're getting aggressive on from the right. He's going to jump down, challenge the Bloodhound by himself with the flatline. He's actually going to lose the fight. Rose with the R9. Taking down Hakim. Iraj. Oh, no. Is this a 1v1? Nope. Oh, my goodness. He goes down. He went for the Thirst and Rose on Pathfinder. Hits them up with that amazing clutch.
And here we go. Hanging on the walls of the gallery. It's Exhibit. Showcasing where everybody is. Sarah Sutcliffe, the last one standing. She did a clutch earlier in the first start of the Master Circuit. She can't do it this time, as it will be the end of TXC. An early out from them as Sarah falls last, and Raymond and Shigum await her arrival. Legit Crew will be the ones who come out on top of that. Guido, Joawa, and Croc 3D. A great start for them, rocking one of the only lifelines you're going to see in this lobby today, and that's actually the most exciting thing I think we've seen so far. Just not a legend that has been one of the ones people have interchanged with others into their lineups, girl, and maybe for good reason, but maybe there is something valuable about this lifeline. We've started to see glimpses of it played, and I like it. I like it in a certain type of lineup that has some flexibility and a lot of individual prowess, and it seems like that's what they're doing. Bangalore, Wraith, and Lifeline. It's a hard combo to keep track of.
Yeah, it is definitely a tough one. You know, survivability is a big thing for this comp as well. You can phase out, you can portal your team out, you can get the revives, you can smoke the revives, you can Bangalore ulti the revives. Like, there's so much that you can do with this. Yeah, so I like it. It is unique, and especially with Broken Moon and how much fighting is going on within it. It's great for like countering third parties, getting that revive up as soon as possible. If you guys are susceptible to getting knocked during those team fights, those 3v3s.
Well, it's 9 squads left as we've had some early action here on Broken Moon in game 1 of our wildcard day. We're going to play 5.
Fancy a stroll this way.
Nice and settled in. Here are those zip lines we talked about. And a charge rifle. The only hit scan weapon in the game. Not fast enough. As we take a look at the map, we'll keep an eye on this throughout the game. Such an important part of kind of the story that happens sometimes off broadcast is where the circle pulls and what teams decide to do, girl. We've been talking a lot about it over my last couple of casts, but even now, just in the Master Circuit, you know, how do you take these types of decisions and let people know how important they are. This is that moment that can sometimes make or break your game. You see that next circle, you decide, all right, we rush in and find a spot, we play an edge, or we doing some type of combo in between. It can mean all of the difference.
We almost got a 50-50, maybe not really 50-50, maybe 60-40 or so on. But a lot of teams playing the edge of the map. Some teams playing edge of where it's going to pull, and most teams are actually playing very, very edge of the map. We might see a fight actually brew sometime soon. Near Terraformer, perhaps. 2 Minute Esport, they got the seer, they got the scans. They know they're surrounded by maybe 2 teams here, so we'll see what they're going to end up doing. Coming up top from these sides are actually probably the safest bet rather than taking that zip line and dying. They're looking around to see if there's anyone around them. Did they switch spots with their opponents? Oh, they found them. G7 Scout's going to go off. He's actually going to get beamed. Throki's going to go back and try and play it safe here. Cannot make it because We Don't Play made it to the edge of zone, and they are hunting.
2 Minute Esports maybe in trouble here. A flying Bangalore. You never want to see that. Oh my goodness, and the slide as well. Double time. So many different ways to describe the meaning of that, but certainly, I'll tell you what, hit double the bullets this time as the player that they were facing. It means that We Don't Play. Mr. Namka come out on top. 9 squads left. Namka still wants a little more. He's going to smoke that one off and get back up to Karnova and Ron plays. So important to have the high ground here, and you can see what it did when they took the aggression from a low ground sitting opponent who had nowhere to go, girl. This is why We Don't Play are typically the team that we see in the final circles, typically the team we see winning grand finals or being in the chance to, and that doesn't look like it's going to change today after a nice clutch up here with That's Noise and M&A.
Oh my God, from across the map, Mr.
Wow.
Karnova gets a knock, and he is going to push with full force with his team. Rom's going to push up. Is he going to hit anything with that Q? No, he does indeed miss, so maybe they get the revive. They were just so far away when they got that knock. It's hard to get the re-knock here. And they do have zone to consider. 26 seconds until zone comes. Looks like they want to potentially Valk ult or take the zip rails. That's something about the zip rails is it now gives you multiple options. Do I need to use my Skyward Dive or not, you know?
It's a great point. This is a fight that is happening towards the edge. We have 8 seconds left, and that's exactly what Rom plays and Karnova and We Don't Play are discussing. Is this worth it? That 1 KP, they might be a nuisance, and chasing 2 players right there when we're a full 3 and we have a chance to go ahead and actually take it into in-game, let's just rotate a little earlier. They've decided to stay. And so keep an eye on what happens there because they are pushing as the zone is moving. They've got a long way to travel. I would imagine that team, if they need a Skyward Diver, they will face a little bit of trouble. Here we have Legit Crew, though, already fighting. And they are inside the zone very, very comfortably, trying to hold their position with a gold shield on Guido. Be able to poke back and forth, but Horizon trying to go inside the doorway. There's a siege happening, and it's going in on Bull, and just the battery not enough. Grenade trying to buy some time, but it is so good here from One Done Aqua pushing in. They might just have themselves a full 3v3 wipe in a better position here at the end game.
Timing wasn't on Guido's side, nor is it on his teammates' sides. Moore trying to get that last kill with his team. This looks like a clean team wipe, as you just said, Rain Day. But oh my goodness, a third party! Look out! Popping a shield battery. They might end up being safe, but they're not going to be full HP by the time this team comes if they're pushing at full force. Looks like they'll be safe for now.
One Done Aqua holding the back final building in Dry Gulch, where our circle looks to be ending. Dry Gulch Production Yard. We're going to see one more as Ron plays Mr. Karnova, and We Don't Play on the edge, your eastern side, find their way without a fight. And that is something they were hoping for desperately. They'll still have to move those. We can see the zone heading in towards the left. 2 teams already set up in terms of the main kind of northern and southern buildings. We've got also Reaper, Painter Ariel, and Kaz Baiku sitting in the buildings in between. And look at this. Already fake taxi maybe. One Done Aqua on the move. They're going to run into Baiku up on top. And what can the old hunters do in terms of staving off a team who wants their position? Not much, except go back and start the defense up.
Yeah, they'll still be okay for now. And they're just going to have to figure out a plan on how to get into that zone sooner or later, but not quite yet. Still a lot of time to do so, though. Minute and 30 seconds until the zone starts closing in again. What do we've got here? We don't play, looking for some more kills, perhaps, on the low ground. Mr. Namka has his eyes set with the 2 to 4x on the R301. He's going to push down. He's going to go for this kill. All of his car bullets are hitting right now, and that is a free team wipe for them once again. They're just absolutely slaying and dominating, going for more kills and more kills as time goes on. But they are on the low ground, and they could get caught out here. We'll see if that ends up happening as they push forward. It's a hard spot to hold around here. There's so many trenches. Oh my goodness, the beams! The Pathfinder might be able to survive because they will not be able to chase with the legends that they have.
Yeah, it's good bullet lead. You know, as a M&K player, it is sometimes I look at that and I go, wow, that you know, that feels good to watch because it's so hard to kind of mimic that tracking as well. You got to put a lot of time in and just get really comfortable with your settings. That's the beauty of highlighting this lobby, which we don't often see. It's a full controller lobby, a full PS4 lobby. Our Master Circuit has never been anything different, and it's giving a showcase to this style of play, the intricacies with using a controller, a PS4 controller, and obviously the benefits as well, and why it's can and has been such an important input in the Apex Legends competitive scene overall. But we'll see if that continues to separate Baiku, who's the last one standing for the Old Hunters. There's been a huge kind of skirmish, and that was with one Odd Aqua. They actually overtook the building that Baiku and the Old Hunters were holding. And so they were really aggressive. They continued that aggression. They got what they wanted. And now really the story of the tale of two halves. The northern half, the northwestern half sitting, waiting in zone, looking to position themselves for the end game. And of course, the southern half saying, like the Lannisters, like Dorne from Game of Thrones, we are going to invade. We're going to attack. We're going to take over anybody that stands in our way. And certainly We Don't Play have been doing so. The Skyward Dive, maybe their last attempt here to find a good spot to finish this game off.
Yeah, let's take a look and see where they end up landing. Landing on roof. Very good spot indeed. Top of production yard. Hard to contest them from here. Is there a team right above them, though? That's my question. Looks like they've spotted somebody, and they might have to fight for this. They do have Bangalore ulti dropping down. And that is going to rain down on FMA up top. Oh, they have Watson, though, so that's really good for them. But they're going to get queued up. Horizon all in the air. They already get a knock on FMA.
But look at this. They take the whole zone. They want to stay here, and they challenge. That's the thing with We Don't Play. They are not afraid to challenge. It's going to be tough to get back all the way up there. They do have the gravity lift, but they're going to have to do it from a different position. That's okay, though, because more KP falling into the hands of Mr. Namka and squad. Ron plays Carnova, aggressive as always, and they continue their domination with at least 7 kills and a top 5 here. It is up to the lobby to stop these players because they do not look like they will be stopping themselves, girl.
Regardless of them having a Watson generator, We Don't Play go up anyways. That just shows how confident they are in winning anything. And it's also the surprise effect, right? Surprise, surprise, yeah. Even though you have a Watson generator and you don't think you're being ambushed or attacked anymore, we're up in the air, we're in your face, and we're coming for you. So We Don't Play, like you said, on a rampage here in game number 1 only, too. So Old Hunters, they've got a rat, and by the looks of it, We Don't Play are unstoppable for now.
Absolutely love that idea that you just brought up. The Watson, almost the guys that the Watson fences and defenses don't encourage you to be ready for a fight. They encourage you to know that people aren't going to push you because you have it. So almost whenever you're pushed and you have a full setup like that, I feel like from a mental perspective, it's a bit surprising because you realize you're pushing into all of my defense. Like, that's what this is set up to deter that. So in many ways, you got to get your mind right and ready for it. It's a long row of a thermite, and Romplays has felt the impact of a little bit more damage than he's used to into a fight. It's a beautiful smoke by Namka, who's just using the defensive utility of the Bangalore, which is so often unspoken of, to perfection as Carnova and Romplays find a little bit of time to regroup as well. But they're still on the push for this fight as they can corner off the rest of the Steam Girl. The zone is pushing in. They're going to have a chance to really just gatekeep here and get a lot of KP.
Yeah, they've already got one on Flesh. There's another one. Down Griamore. Got knocked. Namka's going to have to play life, though. He's getting cracked, but he's going to go finish off the team with his team. The armor swap was quick, and they've got a rat right above them. They killed the rat as well.
Oh, my
Now
gosh.
it's only 2 squads left. There's only 1 player remaining. It's another rat.
If you are the rest of the lobby, you have been put on notice. This team is coming for you. There are 4 more games left of this. And unless somebody makes a move, We Don't Play are going to be making one of the strongest, most dominant statements we have seen in a master circuit ever. We Don't Play. Game 1 winners.
Game 1 winners indeed. Now that was really fun to watch. We Don't Play with that domination. Mr. Carnova using the gravity lift to make all of those entries. Mr. Namka getting those entries from far away with the G7 Scout. Rom with the perfect rotations. Everything was perfect from them. Their teamwork, impeccable, wonderfully played. Can't wait to see game number 2. And as you said, the other teams, they're just going to have to step it up if anyone's going to be able to stop this team.
Yeah, it looked like we were setting up 12, maybe 13 teams of the lobby to be ready to kind of have a warm-up game, start getting going, got to play till 5. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And We Don't Play got a totally different, pre-game conversation. This is it. If you do not clutch up and get 35 points in this game, you're out of the master circuit. And it felt like that was the tone everyone took. It was a slow but steady pace. We're used to seeing that in tournaments. This is not unusual for the rest of the lobby to be playing like that. We Don't Play was just on a completely different pace. They were going 100 miles an hour, and they never stopped.
Yeah, they never stopped. They kept it going. They started off on the edge and made their way all the way across the map, taking every fight that they could take. I think there are some teams that can contest them, like One Don Aqua. They've been doing really well in that last game as well. They got a few kills. This is them here with a clutch here against Hakim's. Hakim's going down in that fight. They've got a few kills, but definitely not as many as We Don't Play, of course, because they ended up going down earlier on, but there is potential for some of these teams to take We Don't Play down. We're just going to have to see it here in the upcoming games. We Don't Play, they won 3 games in our Wild Cards 1 of Season 3. Let's see how many they can win in Wild Cards number 2.
Also curious, noting that they took a very hard edge rotate pathway, and a lot of other teams who are in this mix here, even Assassin claiming a number 2, which is not bad. That's good placement points right there. That's 9 placement points plus whatever kills they got, so congrats to that. In terms of a hard edge rotation, it worked really, really well for We Don't Play. Mr. Namka, Mr. Carnova, and Romeo Plays, excuse me. I believe it's Romeo Plays. We're going to double check on that. But look at that, girl. That's a, 15 bomb there, plus 12. That's a 27-point game from the 3 of these.
Wow, a great way to start off the day, and that's going to give them the confident boost to keep it going, keep that momentum going as well. I don't see them stopping personally. It's about anyone stopping them, right? They land in the corner of the map, though. They land in backup Atmo. That's the place to avoid right off the bat. If you are going to contest someone, probably not that team to begin with. But yeah, you're going to have to expect them coming from their edge of the map, from their corner of the map, to the middle on the edge side. So if you're playing anywhere slowly on the edge, you know which direction they're coming from. That's going to give you a big heads up on how to play, or to lurk around and give them a good third party.
That's a great point. I feel like now there's maybe I don't know, the expectation of an adjustment right now feels like too soon for these teams. I would expect maybe in game 3 or 4 that we'll see it. But if you do see We Don't Play continue to go edge and kind of have this style, and you want to play kind of center, maybe it is adjusting the teams that you play. The Watson wasn't enough by itself, considering how We Don't Play like to play. Do you add a Newcastle to that? Do you run for a crypto, try to be almost like, let's counter any aggressiveness that you can be. Let's slow you down. Let's make sure that we know you're pushing as a 3. Let's destroy, any opportunities there. The one thing they do, though, is, this lineup is so flexible. It doesn't really get countered too much by a crypto, except for just the slow and the damage. It's not like it's taking away a lot of the setup of the Watson, of the Newcastle, even of the Caustics, even of, what could have been back in the day when Gibraltar was the player to have, in terms of those shields. It doesn't really work against this such mobile squad. And I don't know. We don't play. They might have just unlocked the strategy there, nearly doubling the points from second place. Let's take a look at the second half of these standings, though, Girl, and comment on some teams that maybe do need to, get a little bit more done. I think we only have a few who are outside of our top 10, but we'll take a look at them in a second as that comes up on your screen.
Yeah, well, these teams are most likely the teams that took 50-50s and ended up losing them, like Viper Squadron.
Look at that.
Formidable team. They're an amazing team. But you know what can take good teams down? 50-50s. Putting that RNG into aspect, but also your gun skill and your quick pacing, quick teamwork, and just winning those 1v1s in the beginning. Biohazard ended up going down earlier on to the Prowler of our second place team. But yeah, Apex King Killer as well. They ended up not getting so many points. AXFF as well. They're a really strong team, as we already know. So it's just a rough beginning. You gotta tune in on those landings. I tell a lot of people that landing in Apex Legends is half your game. It really is. It's half your game, because if you get a good landing, if you know where everyone is around you, that information is going to set you up for success. That's how I see it.
Do you remember we had a conversation that eventually you realized I was so smart about, which is the number one most important thing in Apex is information.
Knowledge, information, yeah.
Well, it seems like you've at least acknowledged 50% of that side. I do agree, though, that having that conversation around how you start is important. Let's look at, like, last game, right? We had Viper Squadron, we had TXC, two teams that could definitely beat We Don't Play in terms of a 3v3 skirmish, go down early. So they didn't really have a chance. Once that stopped, I feel like it opened up the lobby a lot for We Don't Play to have very little consequences on their behavior. And they took a really, I wouldn't say risky, but they took a very long route towards that final circle. They got super aggressive on an already defensive setup team on high ground, which is the Watson squad. And I feel like that check and balance wasn't there. So if we see a new circle this time where maybe We Don't Play have to sit, they have to use a lineup that's meant to be mobile and move, but maybe they're already near the zone. How do they hold for that entire game? And do we see a little bit more leeway given now to TXC, now to AXFF, now to Viper Squadron to kind of maneuver on that edge, take fights, and not get challenged and kind of make their way in with a lot of KP? That's kind of what I'm looking for in game 2.
Yeah, it's going to be tough figuring out that counter and figuring out that strategy, especially if you're on the edge. You're planning on third-partying them, but you're the only team there. And then they just catch you in a straight 3v3. It can be difficult, but I feel like one of the best things you can do against a Horizon player is don't stand still while they go up in the air. Don't try and track them every time if you don't think... They're most likely going to outdamage you because they're shooting at your head while you're shooting at their feet, and it's harder to track for you than them. So if you can just get into safe space, spare yourself a few moments, and then end up fighting them in a moment, I think that's the best way to do it. Unless you have a teammate that has a really good angle that's already ready to beam them. If you see a Horizon team, you know they're going to use gravity lift. You got to be prepared for that. You got to position yourself before it happens. For example, the team on the roof of production, they had to prepare for it. They had to line their aim and make sure they track them all the way up, or they get behind some kind of cover, whether it be the generator, or I know there's a few little small types of cover up there. You're going to have to utilize that to your advantage.
It's a great point to kind of bring up how everybody needs to have a game plan for certain scenarios. You don't just go into Apex casually to have fun and just say, well, let's see what happens. You got to know it's a Horizon team. Well, what could they do to me? What could happen here? It's kind of putting boundaries on something that feels very boundaryless, a battle royale. You don't even know what weapons you're going to get. You don't know where the zone is going to go. So why do we have any consistency at all? But that's kind of what you have to do at this higher level. You have to almost set the terms of what an engagement might be. This is a Gibraltar crypto, Horizon. team. All right, so we got to watch out for, obviously, defensive bombardment. We have to look out for our bubble going in and getting crypto EMP'd, right? And then after that, maybe they're going to try to push. So we have to kind of potentially move ourselves with all of that in mind. And for those who don't come from BRs, it may seem like, wow, that sounds more like a tactical shooter, maybe more like a hero shooter. But no, it actually is the same elements, same tips that you need to be successful here in Apex. As we are on our brand new map, one of the cool things about this girl is that we get to see the new map in action, competitive action. How do you feel about Broken Moon so far in terms of its competitive panache?
It's very quick. It doesn't give many teams room for error, and it's really hard to know where you're going to end up getting ambushed from, whether you're going to get a third party from behind, here or there, because Valkyrie and the zip lines can get you to any place really fast. So you got to be really careful. You got to be quick and clean with your fights, or you can't really take them at all because you're going to end up getting third party. But I really do like Broken Moon. I think it has a lot of potential. Do the professional players like Broken Moon? That's another question that I don't know. But yeah, I like the pacing of it. You loot quick, you fight quick. In the beginning, I found it really tough to survive in ranked lobbies, but I feel like everyone's starting to get used to it. No one's making silly decisions to push for no reason and getting everyone else killed. That's like when you call it griefing, you know?
Yep.
When someone pushes you, knowing that there's a team right next to both of you, and then just getting you yourself and
them
the other team, taken down. That's the worst part.
You know, but there's a real big confidence shift in, like, the difference in terms of whether it's griefing or you're just way better than everyone. Because if you push that team, you kill them, then the other team comes and you kill them too, then it's like, wow, that team's just better than us. But if you don't and you both die, it's like, wow, you griefed us. And I agree, it's a very slim margin, because those are hard plays to make in a game where, I mean, strategy is as simple as you see two teams fighting, you show up. That way you can have some clean shots and some clean KP. Doesn't get more complicated than that in Apex Legends, as we see all of our teams starting to land girl and find their spot and their safety here. As we get clear, it'll be a zone that is towards our maybe north midwest side, mid-east side of the map here. And I don't know, my eyes on Stasis Array.
Yeah, Stasis Array or Alpha Base. We're seeing another 50-50, and Viper Squadron doesn't look too happy, honestly. It looks like they're playing very aggressive, very well put together, and it looks like they actually want to maintain this area. So let's take a look at these shots. Oh no, Dominus took way too much damage. Dominus might do good die for free. He's going to take the height. He's going to get cover fire from his teammates. He's going to get pushed from up top. He's now down to literally 1 HP. Has 1 shield cell to his name. Can his teammates figure out on how to provide him time, yes or no? All right, Guido goes down. Biohazard doing a great job with his shots. This is actually not good. Looking good for Legit Crew. They're gonna get taken down 2-1.
Wow, this is crazy. Legit Crew look like they have that absolutely in the bag. And I just got to give a huge shout out to Twiggy, who takes about 60 damage on the rotation to the outside of that door. And as you can see, Legit Crew trying to just poke through and get that last bullet, stands right in front of the door, allows the shield battery to get off, and then obviously make sure that no damage can go through, and it almost just baits a ton of ammo and a lot of wasted time from the player on Legit Crew who is inside and looking to get a finish and a down. That turned the tide. That set up some free, I think, just help from Biohazard to go ahead and get damage and clean things up. And wow, that would have made a difference. That would have made a very big difference if Legit Crew could take them down yet again.
Yeah, Ammo Station is currently a hotspot right now. Take a look at Red Fate. He's going to go down for free. Biohazard's going to take down another. All right, they're on a rampage. Viper Squadron ready to get their good game in. They're the team that's going to take down We Don't Play, if anything, based off of this momentum that we're seeing from them right now and the teamwork that they're putting in.
This is absolutely what you want, though. I mean, once you start off and you get this snowball, look at the lack of looting. There's no real information in terms of what you could see them talking about, but I guarantee it is not, let me check one more blue pill, let me check one more this and that. And that's kind of the identity of when you're in these final, not these final, but these flurries of fights. Loot off the players that you're taking down, girl. They've already done the work for you to pick up the shield cells, to get the ammo. Don't worry if you only have 50 in your magazine. Win the fight, and then go ahead and loot off them.
I have a question for you based off of what we just witnessed. Lifeline was off by about 2 seconds to retrieve the banner.
Oh, no.
Do you think it would be healthier for the banners to last a little longer?
Well, it sounds like you've had some rough times in rank.
Oh my goodness, you're turning this against me?
It seems like you've had some issues in ranked. I don't know why. Just something in the tone of the way that you asked. But no, I mean, listen, the jokes aside, I do really not have a strong opinion on that. Do you? I mean, it seems like maybe it feels like they're a little too short for you.
Yeah,
How long are they? 90 seconds or 60 seconds?
90 seconds, I think.
That's, I mean,
yeah, that's a long time.
That's a good amount of time. It's a good amount of time. It depends, though. It's very contextual, right? If you end a 2v3 fight and then that team starts loading up and they start, looting and they start, they walk to one building, they walk right back to the banners, that's probably already like 50, 60 seconds of something. So then you really got 30 seconds to where maybe they're starting to leave and maybe you can freely come back in. I like the decision making that sometimes it allows. It's very easily countered, but let me ask you this. Do you think a team staying and blocking banners long enough, right? Does that take enough away from them for the benefit that it gives them? Is it basically like just, why wouldn't you do this? Because there's no harm, no foul for us waiting 90 seconds? Or does that 90 seconds for them kind of become a negative? Could they have rotated? Could they have moved and done something? What's your idea on what a team has to give up to do that? Because maybe it isn't enough. Maybe they should have to give up 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, if they really want to make sure that you can't get back in the game,
It is really all situational, right? If Zone 3 is coming, then they won't have that much time. If it's at the beginning of the game and it's a fast-paced game like this one, they don't really they're not in a rush to go to end zone because the end zone spots aren't going to all be taken because people are dying off quickly, right? There's going to be a spot to Valgalt whenever, wherever, how you feel. Nice shots coming in from Dominus, but yeah, like I said, it all depends on the lobby. If everyone in the lobby goes to end zone, then that time actually really matters a lot. And it's going to be quite difficult getting into end zone when there's already 18 teams placed in there. But like you see in this lobby, it's quite quick, everyone's fighting, and it's not really going to punish you enough by waiting there on the banners.
What if there was an algorithm, and I just say this because you got me thinking, how the zone changes in terms of damage. So early game zones don't hurt as much, but late game zones do. In the same way, time is more valuable in the late game than it is in the early game. So 90 seconds is probably more than enough time. But if we have maybe 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes in the super early game, round one, that's probably the equivalent of the amount of time that would make a difference and force people to make that decision like they would have to in the late game.
Dun, dun, dun. Rain Day, you're hired.
I can see them actually doing that.
I actually like that idea a lot. I never thought of it. And
so when do I start? What's
on
my
the
salary?
spot while casting, you just figured something out that could actually work. I'm very proud of you. Well done. Congratulations. You're hired.
Thank you, my friend. I'll be going to you for payment, so just I'll put my bank account. Whoa, hold on.
Hold on.
I thought you were proud of me. I thought I was hired. Wow.
No, this is why you don't give free ideas on broadcast because people will take them.
Hey, if someone gets hired as like a balance or systems designer at Respawn and they reference this idea, I'm happy I've contributed in some way. I don't need the credit. It's all right.
That's so sweet. No, they should give you credit.
No. I got enough. I got enough going on. Let's spread the love. Let's spread the love here. Back to the game just a little bit.
Yep.
We've seen a Northern Zone. Stasis Array is what kind of stood out to me, but yeah, Alpha-based Stasis Array looks like is going to be kind of where we start to see this. And we don't play already there. So this is like the opposite of this is actually kind of what I set up, isn't it, girl, a little bit? Like Biohazard and Viper Squadron, now they've got a chance to rotate. We don't play already in the zone. So, like, what do they do here? Because they love to play. They love to get aggressive. They're skyward diving. So is this for position or is this to say, hey, let's spread out. Let's take some fights. Let's gatekeep towards I mean, maybe one of these choke points that lead into it and kind of hold one of these buildings. I could see them playing that, trying to get some KP as people rotate in late.
Brandy, I can tell you from what I just saw that they're scanning and looking for the first team that comes to zone. And,
that's right.
And they're going to try and kill them.
That's
from
right.
what I'm seeing right now, they're looking at every direction. They're trying to utilize everything that can get them around quicker. Mm-hmm. And they just want to fight. So end zone doesn't suffice for them. But look at the amount of kills they have. They already did pick up at least 4 kills, maybe 6 even. So not a bad start for them. But they're that team that just can't sit still. You know, they're that person that can't just sit down and work in an office. They're the team that's got to get up, get around, do some things, go from one job to another, work all day long, 10 hours, 12 hours. That's them.
Dang,
wow. In game.
So you and them have a lot in common except the moving part. You do your job sitting down.
I do my job sitting down.
That's right.
And technically they are right now as well.
But
PlayStation 4s.
IRL streams, I thought you had an intention of doing a little bit more of that in the future. Maybe something to consider. Obviously, we don't play. No one can match their movement. I think it would be about 20, 30 miles in an IRL perspective, but we don't mind that at all. They found another squad. They have taken down another player. They're looking for at least one more, as that means there's one more remaining. They're going to get the finish on the downed enemy, and as we don't play continue to push, there will be smokes obscuring vision, allowing Mr. Namka to continue firing off. They've really set a tone here that isn't going to be stopped. In fact, for those who want context, they were they were by themselves in Alpha Base in the very north of the map, where the zone very well could pull an end. And they just left. They just actually went to the edge of the zone. They went away from maybe what the safest or the god spot that people would be trying to get to is. That's how aggressive that they're playing. So we're not joking. We're not being overly hyperbolic here. They are literally being more aggressive than even makes sense, because that's just what makes sense for their play style. I don't care if it's a bad plan. They're executing it well and on the same page. So I like that from We Don't Play.
I love that you said that, because that was one of the first things that I learned in Apex Legends. When you're listening to an IGL, it's like, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with your IGL. It doesn't matter if you think that you're going to die or not. You got to commit. You got to do what your IGL tells you to do, and it's kind of what they're doing right now. Is I think they all believe in each other, but still, like you said, it might not be, textbook, but it is working well for them, and that's what you got to do when situations and tournament lobbies change. Some of them are slower, you play slower. Some of them are faster, you play faster. If they kept getting punished while doing this, they would have to change the way they're doing things, but since no one's punishing them, they're free to do whatever they like.
You gotta love it. You got to love it. We're getting an exciting squad here. Should we finish each other's words?
That's what I was going for.
All right, well, here we have... Oh, you're not playing anymore?
Oh.
Wow.
I thought you cut out for a second. I was worried.
We're not playing anymore? Okay, wow, that was a very fast game. We'll try it next time.
Okay, let's try again.
We gotta. I'm a little vulnerable now after being left hanging for that long.
I'm very sorry.
All right, guys. You know what? But you got to get back up. You got to get back up, even if you get knocked down. So here we have
Red Fade going for the skyward dive.
Yeah, but you gotta leave me to say something. You gotta leave me to finish something. Down here, trying to avoid the incoming
damage from the enemy opponent, surviving with 1
HP. Now SARS FPS looking to hit a strong Phoenix kit behind the rock, and just take a look at where that
leads them. Unfortunately, leads them to death, as they ended up getting chased
by a team rotating on the outside of the zone. And speaking of the zone, we have exactly
about 55 seconds until it closes in. Oh my God.
Good one. That was the hardest one, because you didn't know what that was.
I had to look to the left of the screen for a moment.
Well done. All right. Well, I think we passed with flying colors. Chat, let us know how we did in terms of our little improv play. Also, for those who want to be on broadcast, maybe I've had a lot of people reach out. These are good little things to try just to, find some timing, some synergy, get on the same page. And obviously, it's always a lot of fun as well. We do really, though, still have 20 seconds before we figure out where this zone is going to end, girl. And it seems like we've got a great setup happening. Viper Squadron, are they still alive? Yes, they are. On the back side, the southwestern side of this, they've got one team taking a zip line behind them, but over on the northwest side, almost as two opposites here, we've got Mr. Carnova, Ron Plays, and Namka sitting and looking again for more and more teams. But soon they will all have to collapse here. And I'm a little worried about Viper Squadron. They've got a couple of bases they could sit in, Alpha Base specifically, in the building to the left. But they don't really have the same level of clarity to not be able to fight from their backside. There's Mostro, there's Diamond Jewel, there's Matty Fonzie, there's Flojo. All of these players and teams actually behind Viper Squadron right now, and there's going to be a clash.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to figure out what to do, but there are buildings that they could run to, try and play it safe here. Viper Squadron doing great amount of damage with the R301, and they have the high ground. Although Zone 3 is going to do a lot of damage. If he gets stunned by this, he actually might die to the zone if he doesn't make his way inside. He has to take the zipline. He cannot pop these shield cells. He almost just died. Dominus surviving, though. Mad kidding. He had that all planned out. That he wasn't worried at all. I was a little bit.
I mean, you should be here because Viper Squadron, they've got a lot to play for. We don't play, obviously, I think if they could just keep going, going to keep their lead. But the rotation from Skyward Dive has actually put them on the southern side of all of this. And so now Viper Squadron's going to have a chance here. You see Ron Plays down in the back. Viper Squadron up with the Skyward Dive. They're just positioning for late game here. They know that it's ending in Alpha Base, and they just want to have the best spot possible. And in many ways, even though they're going to take a fight right here, potentially, because there is Zenitsu underneath them, there is an entire Watson party going down on here, and it's very easy to see. They're going to at least have the ability to have maybe some space to hold and a couple of teams to discourage We Don't Play from coming into the chaos as they are about to now. Let's see if Viper Squadron can get out of this. Exhibit goes down from Sierra inside.
I almost feel like you shouldn't play Watson in this lobby because none of the top teams are respecting the Watson gens. They're not respecting the Watson fences. They're not respecting the Watson teams whatsoever. They see a Watson team and they're trying to angle them out off the bat because maybe they sense a bit of insecurity when a team plays Watson, when a team plays 100% defensively, and seems like they want to take advantage of that Watson team. So definitely seen it last game, and we're seeing it again. Viper Squadron, though, they're actually going to get sucked in. They're actually going to get a repercussion for the way that they're pushing Zenitsu. 2 with the car SMG. He's going to take down 2. Zenitsu might even take down 3.
Wow.
Viper Squadron was eliminated. FMA Titans, they got punished last game for playing Watson, but not this time.
No, they were in a building, and this is a perfect spot because this is really giving them the opportunity to use their composition the way that they want to see it. The Seer exhibit came out, gave them the info. The Watson fences deterred anyone pushing onto them, and that meant that they had time. Time to do what? Set up the Horizon Ultimate, the black hole that could just basically take down Dominus, and from that point on, it was a 3 versus 2. So well played from FMA Titans. Can they do something today? That would be surprising, as in doing it again to our second place, our first place team, but our second attempt here. It's We Don't Play. Certainly a lot of damage from Namka already, and feeling very confident about pushing into this. Oh no, it is Romo Plays doing the same thing as well. That's the Watson generator gone down. Good damage on a Namka though. He's gonna have to back up, and now it's a 3v2 here, and it's also gonna force Ron Plays to hit a shield battery.
I'm just worried for them because they don't have generator left standing, and there you go. FMA, Puma already going down. We Don't Play doing massive amount of damage, and that was a quick team wipe. The generator just wasn't in the right spot at the right time, I don't feel like. And they put themselves on that low ground, right?
Wow.
Maybe if they continue to keep that. Oh my goodness, it's already over. The rat ended up dying as well. Oh my goodness, that was quick.
Well, We Don't Play. Do it again. 2 games in a row here in our Master Circuit wildcard number 2. And it doesn't look like they're slowing down. Can they go for 3?
They might. They might be able to go for 3. Honestly, they did it last time around in Wild Cards number 1. They can possibly do it again here or even surpass their high score of those 3 back-to-back wins. Can they do 4? Can they do a whole day of wins? Oh my goodness, that's going to be exciting to find out.
I can see it. I can see it happening here because this was the only scenario I thought, all right, maybe we're going to see Viper Squadron or somebody else stand up because they have some more, they have just a better access to the way the end game is going to go. They don't have to have as many trials and tribulations. This was we don't play having to do the opposite of what they did last game. So, you know, we know one way works for them, but can the other way work for them too? Are they that flexible? Yes, they clearly are. They took down everyone standing in their way yet again. Their team fighting is just unreal, and I think that's what's separating them. So I don't see we don't play losing in an actual team fight, especially when there's only one other team they're fighting. But that's why I felt that if Viper Squadron or another team could have just come in at a different time, made it more of a group dynamic that we don't play was taking some damage from behind or engaging with 2 teams at the same time. That's the opening that these other teams need. But I almost got to stop talking about it until they make me talk about it because we don't play. They are just phenomenal, girl.
Yeah, they really were. They showed what their team is made of and what they can accomplish. And I think by the end of the day, we're going to find out to what extent. Do we need more competitors playing? Do we need... I mean, everyone here is improving, and you can see it. Like, with FMA Titans, they improved from Game 1 to Game 2. So I really like to see that. AXFF, Dave dying off early. Really unfortunate to see them losing their 3v3s consistently right there. Oh my goodness, this poor Solo just wants to live. What a nice highlight, but we don't play. They went from point A to point B to point C. They went through the whole alphabet this game and just dominated everywhere they went. Viper Squadron, I don't know what happened to them here. Unfortunate, but Zenitsu, all right, MVP of this building for sure. Before we don't play entered it.
Yeah, of course. Everything is with the asterisk before we don't play, take part in the fight. And I think maybe that's just the way it's going to be today. You know, I looked at the way at least 2 of them were playing. 2 SMGs, either SMG and an AR. They weren't going for, you know, basically single projectile weapons like a wingman or like a longbow or even like what you consider even a shotgun. They're just going for spray, and I kind of like that style. It is a lot of pressure, gives you a lot of flexibility, and it obviously gets you a good amount of damage there. 1,300. We'll top it with the kill leader, Mr. Namka. That's, I believe, 2 games in a row with 5+ kills, and that total, it'll be 13, making it a 25-point game for We Don't Play.
By the end of the day, they're going to have over 70 points, perhaps, maybe even more.
Shoot, they're on like a 100-point pace.
They got that 888 damage. Maybe Rom's lucky day, Romeo, as you said earlier. Definitely get that verification, but well done by all of them. They were all sharing damage. They were all sharing kills, assists, everything. They were all involved in every single fight. And they're the undefeated winners of today's Game 1 and Game 2. Will anyone be able to stop them Game 3? You're going to have to find out soon. But until then, take a look at our scoreboard. Oh my god!
I mean, that would be a decent total for the end of the day. I think a lot of these teams, if they got to 52 points by the end of the day, they'd be feeling good. This is crazy.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, what else to say here, girl? I mean, there's really just a very top-heavy leaderboard. Everyone else, though, between 2nd and 8th. And remember, there's still prizing. There's $300 for 2nd, right? So we're still very, very close in terms of the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, everyone's got their eyes set on that 2nd place for sure because 1st place almost seems impossible at this point. And then there is AXFF, lost off drop again. It's sad to see TXC as well, not making it into that top 10 as we normally do see them. They're a formidable team, just not with a great start right now. And 2 Minute Esport as well have been losing their 50-50s. Apex King Killer. You know, there's still a few more games to learn and get better each and every time. And there's a lot of drop spots, a lot of POIs. You don't need to go for that one where you have to take that 50-50. Sometimes people need, you know, that time to just loot, figure things out, and then take that fight. Because taking the 50-50 off drop requires so much skill in a different way and a little bit of RNG as well. Like, Did they get a flatline blue armor?
Yep.
And you got a P20 white armor. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just don't leave it up to chance. Take yourself a nice spot anywhere on the map. Even some no-name areas on this map have good loot. So I don't see why not take just a safe area.
All right, well, they'll have a chance in real time to maybe adjust their game plans as well. And, of course, minimizing RNG. That's what the winners of yesterday's ALGS, the Guard and IGL RKN, mentioned. Minimizing RNG, that's really what a good leader does and how you can basically be successful in a BR. We'll find out if they could change that, but also if you want to get involved, if you like what you're seeing here, maybe you want to play or just play on, maybe not on broadcast, but still compete for pricing, check out compete.playstation.com. That's where you have all the needs answered, all the information, all the pricing, all the tournament schedule, and of course, your chance to get involved like you see the players who are here on broadcast already having done and being featured in today's show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will see if We Don't Play continue their onslaught or if someone else can rise to the challenge and take the first place away from them. See you in a bit. We work for you, ladies and gentlemen, and that's meaning we put on a great show. And girl, you definitely have done a great job today. I want to just highlight the fact that you are competing tomorrow in a tournament as well, and you're casting a tournament today. I'm sure you're streaming in between those times. How do you find enough time to grace the Apex community with all of the things that you do?
I just like to put in my best in everything I do, right? So show up, make sure you're there, do your best whenever you can. Excited for tomorrow's tournament. It's going to be all female IGLs, and the pro players on the teams can't say much. They can only call out damage numbers and maybe locations of where they see other people, but that's about it. So it's going to really highlight the female IGLs. Clara has put on this amazing tournament, and I just can't wait. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but yeah. Let's go on to the winners.
Well, you know, honestly, I just got to say, I'm going to be able to speak more than any other guy on that broadcast, which is hilarious because I'll be commentating on you. So you better have some good, you better have some good IGL, because you know I will be bringing my comments with Clara. It's going to be a fun time. But
awesome. Are you co-casting with her?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so fun.
It's going to be a good time. And for those who are wondering where we're at here in Game 2 for Master Circuit Wildcards, we've got We Don't Play in a commanding lead. This is after 2 games, not 4. This is just 2 games, and they've got 52 points. Emphatic wins, and in 2 different styles, girl. But you know, we're hoping to see more from TXC and AXFF team. We think they can do it. Definitely have the talent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's only Game 2 out of 5 games. We've got 3 more games to go. So you're just tuning into the halfway, and we've got a lot of exciting things to see. And if you've been struggling in ranked, or you've been struggling on Broken Moon on how to figure things out, take some notes. These pro players know what they're doing, and there's maybe some strategies that suit your playstyle.
Great question here as we get ready to load up in the game. Here's my thought. Do we have Broken Moon join the like, what happens in terms of competitive maps for Apex? This is something that I just let happen. I just, you know, I cast what we're playing, right? But in terms of the thought process, Olympus, Kings Canyon, obviously prior, but now since World's Edge and Stormpoint are there, Kings Canyon has not been reintroduced as a competitive map. And now Broken Moon. Will we see an addition? Do you think we should shift one? What do you think for, let's say, Split 2, because I don't think it would happen during Split 1, in terms of competitive maps for Apex?
Let's introduce all of the maps and play 2 games on each one. You know, that'd be fun, don't you think? For a viewer, it's going to be a lot of fun, but maybe for these pro players, they're not going to be big fans. RNG might end up skyrocketing. I don't know. I really don't know what would happen, but I would love to see that. Is
the pro player immediate negative feedback something to really like put too much stock in? I tend to feel that the early reactions tend to be a little bit more like exaggerated before we find the truth of the situation. What do you think?
That's true. Actually, when I competed on Stormpoint, personally, not one of my favorite maps to compete on, because I didn't feel like there was enough POIs for everyone to play. And, you know, there are still teams like Complexity that take no-name POIs that don't really have much loot, that they start leaving with double whites, and I just don't feel like it's as fair for other teams to have great POIs with purple armors. And so I feel like, I always thought that more POIs were better, but I don't think the developers agree with that. I think that developers prefer for teams, especially with Broken Moon, right? They made such big POIs where in Atmos Station you could share that with 2 teams. In Cultivation, there's enough room for 2 teams to land and then fight. In Terraformer, there's enough loot for 3 teams. I feel like they really changed it up with this map in particular. So that way there's space for everyone to loot, but there's also room for them to run away with the zip rails or to loot some no-name areas. I feel like they did a really good job with this map in particular, but I think people find it maybe hard to rotate through certain choke points. I think that's the one small negative feedback that I've heard that might make sense about this map is certain chokes, how to get through them. If it ended up going back up Atmo, how do you get to that location from across the map?
Wow, great comments there. I hope everyone is paying attention. Good insight, as I know you've played this map a lot, probably more than 95% of the people in the world, considering just how many hours you put into the game, and also chance that we've been able to cast this now once with our second day in terms of competitive format. Great to witness. One done Aqua doing a little bit of gravity lift juggling there from side to side. And it's going to end up with Grimoire and a kill, as we have eliminated, it looks like maybe one squad. Roselle finding Flojo in your kill feed as well. Rocking with the iron sights on the flat line. Not too bad. Making some adjustments actually to iron sights as well, girl. Did you hear about Apex kind of standardizing iron sights now?
Oh, no. What does that mean?
Well, just the concept that there were better weapons that with certain skins you would have a more favorable iron sight. And so kind of taking that distinction away from skins and kind of making the weapon iron sights more uniform so that there isn't a cosmetic advantage. Did you catch a little bit of that?
Oh, yeah. I think with the... I think it was a flatline skin or something of the swords.
Yeah, and with the
effect.
R9 too, right? Specifically, I think of those.
They're
weapons.
changing the R9?
I think that they're standardizing some of these.
Oh no.
No, well, hey.
Rest in peace, girl. Carnova. Oh my god, we don't play as actually a duo right now.
Uh-oh.
But they did get the first initial knock. Oh, they got a second knock as well. I think it's a 2v1 right now. Carnova's down to 1 HP, but Mr. Namka
wow.
is going to clean it up. Legit crew 2v3'd by We Don't Play at the beginning of game number 3. Holy.
Romeo plays not there. I think he was mad that we were calling him Romo this entire time, and now he's sitting this one out. Says, I'll come back when you stop mispronouncing our name. All right, we know we've got the official confirmation. It is Romeo plays.
Oh, okay.
And I like that name. I do. I really, really
love
do.
it.
So, Romeo not with Namka and Carnova, but talk about the patience Namka had on that little highlight. We may see it again at the end of the day's recap, but Namka just a lot of bullets, maybe has I don't know, 10 more in the magazine. Just lets the crypto jump left, jump right, land, and then boom, all of a sudden finishes them off. That little delay of your firing, it's sometimes hard to do. You want to just unload your entire clip, but if you unload your entire clip and you miss the rest of the 10 bullets, it's not really worth it. So I love the patience we're seeing, and obviously the good instincts and experience in a 1v1 scenario for Namka.
Let us go there.
Gotta ping that R301, one of the most common weapons in this game. I would feel like that everyone enjoys, whether you're on mouse and keyboard, controller, anything. You're gonna be able to enjoy the R301 because it's the most consistent, the most balanced, does a good amount of damage, but it's also easier to use. It's easier to shoot at a long range with it, and tracking with it is pretty good, especially if you the barrel stabilizer, right? So. Definitely a good gun. FMA Titans, they're on the edge of the map. Let's see, are they rotating into anyone? It looks like there's another team on the other side of Divide, so Anubis is going to have to be careful and aware of that. I think Anubis is like, I don't think I want to go in by myself, guys. Can you guys come with me, please? Let's get together, because if I get ambushed here, I'm going to cry. Anubis, I think he has a sense that a team might be nearby.
Round 1, 2 minutes, and some change from closing. 11 squads left. TXC needs to wake up. We saw Sarah find a kill, but this is a big moment here as Raymond goes down. Shigum will have a chance to get the shield battery off. And with the exhibit, is just going to go into the air. Notably, you will not be seen within the exhibit if you are flying or mid-air. Only if you are walking or sprinting. And, of course, crouching will also mean that you are not visible. Shigum feels like this is the opportunity. It certainly is. Beautiful shots there. It's Hakeem's who are eliminated there. Toucan, 6'9", 6'9", going down to Shigum's flat line. And they will have a banner opportunity to recover Raymond, and at least right now stabilize as a duo.
Notice that they're running away even though they won the fight. That just means that there's a third party or a fourth party right on top of Raymond. And Raymond was calling that out, right? As they were sliding down, like, third party's coming. Please don't come revive me because I am not safe. That's something that they were just doing with communication. They can kind of tell with the way of their movement, not going back to revive Raymond. But Zone is pulling in, and hopefully, for Raymond's sake, And for TXC's sake, that no one is going to be fighting on that banner for too long. It looks like there's 2 teams nearby, not just one.
M&A on the gold. R301 fully kitted out alongside the car. Usually things spray and pray. No praying needed for those weapons. That will be a dangerous combo. Certainly in full effect thanks to that noise. Another Bangalore that we're witnessing in this lobby has been just a huge part of our Master Circuit dynamic. Bangalores have been mainstays, whether it's Ultimate Lovers Trio, and we're watching the Bangalore Crypto duo combo with the Tridents on Stormpoint, or whether we're just witnessing We Don't Play and Mr. Namka's prowess over these last 2 games, 2 wins in a row. Definitely a legend that is showing the value of its skills early game as we see the zone continually moving here. It's not going to be enough to hurt too bad. Medkits, syringes should be able to help them out, but M&A just rather going to gatekeep. They don't have a Skyward Dive, so this is how they have to rotate. It's like playing Apex from a couple years ago. No Skyward Dive. We got to just run into the zone. What is that? But a little refreshing to watch as well.
Yeah, you know, it eliminates the errors that a lot of Valkyries do end up being in, is flying on another team or flying in a bad spot. But Zenitsu, how in the world did Zenitsu go down so quick? Twiggy must have one-clipped them. Kuma is going to have to pop a shield battery. Can they hold this zip rail? Oh no, they're going to take another zip rail. They're going to actually end up holding the other house instead, which is a good idea so that they don't get pushed on right quick. Is he going to pop that shield battery, or is he going to keep going? That's the thing. Anubis is going to keep going. Anubis is like, if you die, that's on you. That's not on me.
Anubis out in front, as it should be here with the Horizon. Good role for an IGL. Good character for an IGL. What's your favorite character in terms of IGLing that you'd rather be on? What do you value most in that situation? The mobility, is it?
Yeah, I like the mobility. You know, sometimes Seer can be in the front and they can scan and know whether someone's in front or not. I actually have been really liking Bangalore and running in front with Bangalore, because I think she can get away from sticky situations. She can smoke herself out. She can create a lot of cover when she's in the open. So I feel like Bangalore is really fun. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been quite an IGL lately. I've been playing with IGLs, and that's the most refreshing thing, because my brain can kind of go to sleep while I just focus on my shooting. That's great.
Well, wake up tomorrow. You're going to have to do it.
Yep,
just talked about that.
I'm so nervous.
You'll be great. You'll be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch. And also, I think you're right. I mean, the differences of having an IGL already on your team and playing that role, there's certain people who lean towards that, who can multitask in that way, and it comes naturally. In fact, it gets them more engaged. Some people, they've got to split off what makes them kind of good in the first place. And they sacrifice a lot in order to go into that zone. Definitely something that I think Viper Squadron haven't, I don't know, we'd love to kind of talk a little bit more to them. Maybe they're a team we can get on in an interview at some point, because this is a team that, you know, the identity of Dominus, Twiggy, and Biohazard, they're literally 3 legends you could kind of IGL from. Valkyrie, obviously, is a good frag legend as well, just because you have, you could put somebody like an incredible controller player, or someone who's, you know, great at 1v1s. They've got the flexibility to maneuver, get in and out of fights, and kind of focus on that fragging and that mobility. But running a lineup that is statistically been very, very good for them. Not having the success today, what is it? Is it maybe just the conversation? Is it maybe just, you know, how they're utilizing these legends? Are they not getting into the spaces they need to in terms of in-game early enough? And are they rotating too late? Stuff to figure out for Viper Squadron, but certainly still vying for second here as round 2 is about to close. It's only been a couple minutes since then. That's amazing, all the action that's unfolded.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow I'm going to be IGLing on Valkyrie, so that's going to be exciting. Yeah, my pro player Zero, he wanted Bangalore because he won't be able to communicate very much. So he's like, I think I can do that on Bangalore because I'll just smoke, and shoot. But he didn't actually say that. I just made that up. But he wanted Bangalore. And therefore, I'm on Valkyrie as the IGL. I get to take us wherever I want to, and hopefully we don't die.
Well, yeah, part of Apex is the... it's the inevitability that you will die at some point. You will go down. And,
unless you win.
Unless you win every game you always play. Which,
Which would be a miracle tomorrow. But then I think I would end up famous if that were to happen.
You would become super famous. You would be... you would become the word girl. Basically,
yes.
look up boy or girl or whatever.
Girl,
your name
that
would
just be
girl.
my face all
that would
over
be crazy.
Google images, PlayStation images, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So, PlayStation, while you got her, sign that long-term contract. You know what I'm saying?
Send those PS5s over.
Yeah, send those PS5s. All jokes. Going to be very, very fun. 9 squads still here. Round 2 about to go. What a spray here from That's Noise. Just threatening. As if you take a look at this map, it's going to end around Promenade. So on the outskirts of this fight, we see Last Arrows. We see AXFF needing to do a little bit of work. They're in a skirmish up on the north. They're following M&A now, though, who find themselves taking an important edge fight. It's actually going to be also TXC against Viper Squadron down in the southern side also, which is very, very important to consider. Here on the north, though, it's just AXFF trying to get through MNA, and MNA making it very, very difficult for them.
They are indeed, and it's AXFF a full trio. It looks, yep, they are a full trio. I was looking at the map for a second. R301 in hand. They don't have a Valkyrie, so they do have to use everything they got to push through M&A here on the bridge. It's going to be tough because they can't really go back through the zone. It's going to do too much damage right now, so they just got to rely on their gun skill. They've already wasted bombardment as well. I don't know if they can get through this, Rain Day.
Why not smoke the bridge, right? Because, where they're fighting, I feel like you got to throw smoke there, and then you've got to make a play. Obviously, taking 2 angles, this is smart from them, but they're going to have to push forward maybe farther than they want, and this is where I think, the moment maybe you would have an advantage. Right there, those smokes that happen, that's the smoke that I wanted AXFF to essentially do to M&A. It just seems like it's happened a little bit too late. And guess who's here? Guess who heard the party was going off and decided to arrive fashionably late? It is Mr. Namka and Mr. Carnova of We Don't Play. Our 2 game-in-a-row winners is Fonzie with a huge couple of shots from the R301. Puts down the Gibraltar in front. Last Arrows falls, and Festy as well. But M&A do not know what is coming for them, because I believe it will be Mr. Namka and Mr. Carnova now trying to make a move, seeing the downs, and finish off M&A.
All right, it was really important of M&A to get a clean team wipe. But are they going to be able to make it back into zone? Are they the ones going to get gate kept? They're already full health, but so many teams now. 3 other teams. There's 4 teams in the vicinity right now. We Don't Play. They're trying to play it safe here because they do see FMA on the bridge. Anubis on the bottom of that bridge, actually, he's going to end up getting caught out here. 120 damage coming in from Maddie. Oh my goodness, the car SNG, the R301's doing the damage needing to be done here for M&A. They are doing really well together, doing this transition from outer edge of the zone back into the zone. But there are still so many squads to keep account of, and take a look at that. That's Kaz with the R301 shooting him from under the bridge. This is not looking good for them.
And Mr. Namka and Mr. Carnova are just playing this so well. They're forcing all of them to go down and fight each other. M&A eliminated now, a team that was on the move. Matty Fonzie hitting so many great shots. TXC also in the mix, but Mr. Namka and Carnova still as a duo in this final circle as TXC goes out in 6th place. What am I witnessing here? Don't tell me Namka and Carnova can somehow, as a duo, win this 3rd game in a row. It would be phenomenal, but they've got to get through. FMA, who still has at least one player up and remaining, and all of Viper Squadron, who, if you want to know where they're sitting pretty in the center of this zone, ready to gatekeep anybody who might be on their northern side. And that's kind of what they're looking out for. They smell that there's a team out there. It's Aerial TV and Squad. And they do want to make sure they have an answer for it, but they've got resources, girl. Skyward Dive still available for them, so they can make some moves if they really, really wanted to.
They could indeed. But Viper Squadron, they got their eyes set here. Actually, on We Don't Play right now, so they're actually in the pinch. They have one team behind them, one team in front of them. Top three. They are the meat of the sandwich, but honestly, from their perspective, they don't really mind it. They can get shots wherever they can. They've got really good buildings, really good cover to play, and no one seems to be applying too much pressure to worry them.
And this is where I think you're going to see We Don't Play make the move, because this is a team that doesn't like to sit. They like to get involved. They're super mobile. They can get in. They could kind of almost bait you into thinking it's a full fight, then get out with the gravity lift, with the smokes, with the Bangalore double time, and just kind of almost be like, yeah, no, we're not in. You two fight each other, and we'll just pick this off like carrion birds after the damage is done. And I feel like that's honestly where they're going. Big, big damage. It might have been a 1-2-3 there, meaning team over on the northern side aligned the timing of their shots so they could do maximum damage in as little time as possible, and it almost caught Dominus. But it's going to get the med kit off. And also one thing to note, Dominus with the RE45, girl, that weapon is just a game changer.
Oh, it is. Huge damage. And we've got the Rampage in play too, I think, by Mr. Carnova. So it's going to be great to catch people off guard on the doorways. But still, popping ultic cells. They have a bit of zone to play on this side of the map, and they're hoping that the other two teams end up fighting first based off what they're doing. They're playing small. That's what some teams call it, playing small. Don't be seen, don't get caught. Just pretend we're not even in this lobby, and hopefully the others will end up fighting it and forgetting about us. So they are just going to play small for now. Light ammo. We've got enough light ammo to fight 10 teams. It's okay. There's only 2 teams left to go, but 55 seconds will be really the ultimate factor of seeing who ends up being out on top. Will Aerial's team end up fighting Viper Squadron, or will We Don't Play have to fight them first?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, they're actually getting flanked on the zip line. I think this is it for We Don't Play.
It should be, certainly, right? Namka at half health. How are you going to get out of this? Grenade does hit, so Carnova's bought a little bit of time, and they've got the Rampage. So it's not over, but here's Viper Squadron now. Can they be the one to pinch? It would be interesting, because they could be the ones that fight Mr. Namka and Carnova. And look at that smoke. I feel like it's doing more than people think. It's allowing old hunters to have an isolated fight and not allow Viper Squadron to get a couple shots in. And also, because of their rotation and the speed of the double time of the Bangalore, after getting shot, it made it so it wasn't that important in terms of repositioning. They could reposition. And look at Kane or Aerial TV almost going down here. I cannot believe it. Reapers is going to go down from old hunters. This is Namka finding a kill. Will they have somehow turned this around? Kane or Aerial TV's got to hit a couple of these shots. The zone is going to almost take him down here. There's just so little damage being done to We Don't Play, and that's because they're so mobile. With this Bangalore and this Horizon, girl, they found a way to get underneath, and now the two teams that they wanted to fight might be fighting. But low ground, Namka's still alive. I think it's going to be Viper Squadron who feel that this is the time to make their move and suddenly take down the winners of the last 2 games. We Don't Play. Will they be silenced? It seems like they might, and it might be the strike of a Viper. That was the difference maker in this one, as the Squadron looks to prepare to grab their first win, and desperately needed win in this tournament.
Hey, we knew they had it in them. We knew that they won a game in our previous tournament series, so it is really nice to see them doing all this damage. Woo! 70 and a 96
Thermite
from across the way. The Thermite should be able to do it. If this hits, Q is going to pop off, should cancel.
That's
the
it.
heal, and that is it. Viper Squadron wins.
Well done, Viper Squadron, getting the W here. Yeah, go ahead. Show off the skins. Hit that emote and take a breath. You've stopped We Don't Play, and you've put yourself on the top of the mountain, too. Now people have to pay attention to your name. Well done, Viper Squadron, in game number 3. As we finally get a new winner, girl, and in good fashion, too. I mean, just really patient play from Viper Squadron, and just good old-fashioned Apex Legends. Hold the building, don't overcommit, and let the other teams do most of the fighting.
We Don't Play did a really good job holding their position there, though. The 2 versus 3 doing enough damage to the old hunters, pushing them away, putting them in a tough spot. I mean, it was a really good play from them to come in and try and flank this duo. But I think the only way that they could have won it was trying to take a floor on the building of Viper Squadron. Unfortunately, that's not what they ended up going for, and it probably was really hard to do so because Viper Squadron had so many really good weapons. They had the long-range distance, but they also had the bow to keep them at bay. And I really think that's probably why they didn't push Viper Squadron in the first place. And they tried to go for second. It's really tough. We Don't Play did a great job there. It was odd to see Mr. Carnova. He was trying to run away. I think he was just trying to jump down to the low ground, but the railing blocked him, and he's like, oh, no. And that's really what solidified that 2v3 being lost there. Unfortunate for them, but they still made second place.
Yeah, and I think that's like maybe what everyone was just hoping, just get them into third, get them out of a huge point game, because they had some kills, right? We already saw they have at least 2 kills from this engagement, I believe, and that was a nice little delay of using all of the ammo. TXC, I thought, was maybe going to have a little bit of a moment here, and they did get top 6. They make it out of this fight, which is nice. Also, M&A, this was the moment that I think Mr. Namka and, you saw Carnova have a chance as a duo to push. They ended up backing off, and it forced M&A into a fight with FMA, which ultimately led to both of their demises as AXFF would fall. Some good tracking, though, over the course of it. M&A did just a great job of performing, and it's that final circle, girl.
Yeah, M&A did a great job holding those teams off, getting the clean wipes, but it ended up being Viper Squadron on top. Sometimes you get carried away in that fighting on the edge zone, and you're not able to make it safely back into zone. That's what we were talking about, you and I, earlier on the banners. Like, what is the value of taking that fight? How long do you have to take that fight before you have to dip? Do you have a safe way on getting into the zone? If you don't have a Valkyrie, it's quite tough being that team that's trying to gatekeep other teams and then going in, because you're just going to get gatekept yourself. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
It is going to be tough. But Viper Squadron, how many kills do we've got? We've got 9 kill win. You let me know what the point system
it's
there is.
It's a 21 point
All right.
game.
Good math.
It's a 21-point game. And, hey, that's going to put them well in second place. Every team that has been vying for... Well, actually, you know what? It might... Because I think Viper Squadron were in our bottom half. I think they were in, 12th. So that's going to put them in second place. But it's still relatively close here between second and 8th.
Yeah, if M&A didn't end up dying on that rotation, they definitely would have more points than they do now, but they still had a really good game. They still have that potential. Matty Fonzie did a great job of not going down in that final 1v1. One Don Ahua. Don't think we've seen too much of them in that last game.
No.
I think they do have the potential as well. They're only 1 point away from third, which isn't too far away from second. So we still got a lot of great contenders going for that. $300 or that $150. But it really, truly does look like we almost have a clear winner. We have one more game to really decipher. If Viper Squadron has a big pop-off game now and We Don't Play doesn't, they can contest for first. 100%.
Yeah, that's true. That's going to put them at around 55 points. It would be like you got to go again, then you give yourself a chance, then you got to do it again. And so it is still a big road. Obviously, We Don't Play winning 2 in a row means if you're going to match them points-wise, you probably have to win 2 to 3. And that is the task now with Viper Squadron. But the good news is it's possible. And that's all you need. A little bit of hope, a little bit of life. Stop the 50-50s. That's when you kind of look back at game 1 and you go, man, losing right at the outset, that put us behind so much. We've got to correct these little things if we want to come out on top in these tournaments. And Viper Squadron seeing the potential pain of what that brings if you can't put it together over the course of 6 games and you pop off a little bit too late.
Yeah, I definitely understand why some people want 50-50s because they want that early KP, they want that good loot in the beginning. But because Broken Moon is such a flexible map for teams to be able to rotate and ambush other teams, rotate really fast, I feel like you can just land safe and take a look at what's the nearest, closest team landing near you, and then go for it. Go for that early KP if you want to. Go for that clean fight. But yeah, leaving it up to chance on what gun you get, or maybe splitting off too much in the 3v3 in a close range battle, it's tough, right? And I do agree with you. Viper Squadron, if they didn't lose that first 50-50, we might see them just as close as we don't play in the leaderboards.
Yeah, and, we'll never know at this point. Now we've got a whole new set of standards. M&A, though, FMA, even AXFF, who had a little bit of a moment, wanted them to wake up. They did a little bit. These teams now starting to shift towards saying, hey, we want to be in the money. We want to be in the prizing. That's 3rd and 4th. So we are going to watch that out as we are getting ready close to head into Game 4. Only 5 games today, so remember that. In our EMEA region, we're going to be in 5 games. So this is really kind of the do or don't situation for them. I'm hoping that we see, if anything, we don't play back with 3, because that was the thing. We saw them take 2nd place. They only had 2 players. I mean, let's talk about, the fact that they're even able to get into 2nd place at this point with a full 3, it may just be like games 1 and 2 where we're kind of kidding ourselves that anyone is going to be able to stop them.
Yeah, they do a really good job of assessing a situation and figuring out how to infiltrate any given moment. So they do a good job of figuring out, should I take this fight? Should I not take this fight? Even if we're a duo, we can come in for the third party. There's a really cool thing about reading the kill feed that a lot of people don't do well at, and I think that's one way to improve as a player. If you can read the kill feed and see that they got trades on both sides, even as a duo, even as a team with triple white armor, you can go in at the right time and kill both squads, eliminate both squads. That's 2 extra placement points for you and a few extra kills, but all of the loot and the glory at the end. So that's definitely what We Don't Play do best. In my opinion, they're really good at it.
Great point. An important aspect of Apex Legends. As we head into our game number 4, we're going to take a look at some of the legend picks as we land. Will we see switch-ups? Will we see some adjustments? Because this is the game that you got to get it done. If you don't, well, you might just be going home. You might be signing, sealing, and delivering your fate outside of the top 4. We know that We Don't Play will be in the top 4. Where will they be? Number 1, well, Viper Squadron has a chance to try to challenge them as we are seeing these teams load in. We Don't Play, Romeo plays. Looks like he's back in the lobby here on the Valkyrie. That will be very, very good for them as Namka and Carnova getting their selections down. Legit crew. Team that's kind of been a nuisance. Pretty good team fighting team, girl. They're rocking the lifeline still with the crypto.
I like it. I really like it. I like how they're playing their own unique style, and they're also doing well with it. So they're obviously comfortable with what they've got and where they're headed. Viper Squadron, they're the champion squad for now, and we're going to see 2 games left to go. It's going to be very interesting. Let's take a look at the drop, see if we get any more 50-50 contests, if people have changed their minds, where everyone is going. Alpha Base looks free this time around, so we might not be seeing a 50-50 there. TXC, they seem to be going production yard. Everyone's taking their own spot right now, so it's actually looking really good until the end of the dropship. That's where I'm worried. Everyone's scattering, everyone's figuring out where they want to go. Will we see another 50-50 Atmo Station? I think so. Atmo Station is where all the 50-50s have been happening.
That's where we've been seeing it, and that's at the end of the drop. Like you had mentioned, we will see a couple of teams there. No doubt about it. It is Fake Taxi as well, dropping there. There's one more squad. So that will be where the action is to kick it off. We can kind of head towards Atmos Station in terms of our spectating. It is one done Aqua, Griamore, and the Razi where the one's fighting. The Bloodhound, though, Pathfinder, and Horizon, this is a pretty good early game composition in terms of winning this fight. You've got a lot of pressure with that scan. And look at it, it's Viper Squadron. I mean, what a risk. This is basically giving your tournament hopes up right now if you don't win this fight. But they've got 3 blue shields, and that is a significant advantage. There's at least an extra 50 health you've got to get through in this early game if One Done Aqua wants to fight.
And that's why we haven't seen them too much in the last game, is because they had to fight Viper Squadron off the drop. And that's why some games they have really good games and some games they don't. Because of this 50-50, it actually brings them both down a little bit to where they can go with their potential, with their skill value, with their skill level as a team. But hey, if they want to contest for this spot, if they want to work on those 50-50s, good for them, because the only way to improve is to take these challenges head on and figure out all your weaknesses as a team and learn from them. So props to them for wanting to improve, as always, taking these 50-50s.
One Done Aqua on the high ground here. The tension is real. What are they going to do? Viper Squadron having a chance to kind of escape, and I feel like that is the issue with this fight. The benefits of winning the fight are small for Viper Squadron. They still got to do so much, and they've lost biohazards there. The benefits of One Done Aqua, though, just similarly, not that much either, but the negative impact of losing One Done Aqua, they go back to the lobby. They're not really vying for first at all, or really second right now. They could, but the negatives for Biohazard, and who's already down in the rest of Viper Squadron, it's just huge. All of the work that they've done to get to this position, possibly thrown away. Greenmore getting a surprise there, so they're going to back it off. They do get 1 KP, and they're going to loot up off of Biohazards. They're going to grab the shield, hopefully, and that will be an easy swap to be able to contest yet again. And they know it's a 3v2, so the exhibit will come out. Greenmore will take to the skies and try to find the damage. In many ways, this is what you said, girl, always kind of an advantage from the high ground with that Horizon. Let's see if Greenmore can put it together for One Done Aqua, who's still looking to fight. That's Dominus on the other side of this, almost getting Greenmore. Still has 9 bullets. It's a beautiful shot from the Mastiff from Dominus. Is there a shield swap there as well? No, Dominus won't have a chance. It's all up to Twiggy, who's got a 2v1. Viper Squadron is eliminated, and just like that, the only team that could have challenged We Don't Play is out.
What a wonderful 2v3 to witness, actually. Biohazard ended up going down early. Unfortunately, Biohazard, I think, was the one to go out early as well in game number 1. So I don't know if it's a legend issue, if it's a positioning issue. It is really hard to run away from a team that's contested high ground and got high ground on you. But we got to stick together on those rotates. If your teammates are running to the bridge, you also have to run to the bridge, because then you guys can tank damage together. If you stay back behind, then how on earth are you going to get out of that tough situation? Fortunately for Greenmore, though, there are 2 armor swaps in that one fight. I feel like Dominus would have got the kill a lot sooner if it weren't for that white armor. So a great job of utilizing the armors nearby. And Greenmore only had 1 shield cell, right? So it would have been bad if there weren't any armors nearby, but it ended up working out for them. AXFF, we've seen them play. They haven't had the greatest start to the tournament today, unfortunately for them, but it looks like they're all looted up. They're ready to rotate. They're ready to roll. Are they going to encounter a team nearby? I think so. They've got a few teams to get through before they can head to that zone.
AXFF team on the run as round 1 begins to close here. The old hunter is stuck with 2. We've seen this happen twice today. It's kind of unfortunate, but you got to play with the cards you're dealt. Kind of nice server outline there of the exact distance with which Seer is able to understand where people are based on that passive. One of the changes to the legend. You talked about earlier that Seer's not going to get out of this meta unless he gets a nerf. Do you still believe that?
Yeah, Seer is just so good. I mean, depending on the lobby, of course, you can play without a Seer, but I feel like Seer's going to be, like, at least on a few teams. You know what I mean? Because Seer can cancel revives. Seer's a fighter. Seer's been born a fighter with the canceling revives or canceling heals after doing damage, getting the knowledge on where they are and what armors that they have as well. Seer can provide just so much information, and as you said, information is the key to success. So Seer is definitely going to be great unless there is a nerf. I think in one Twitch chat the other day, I saw, hey, what would happen if Seer didn't cancel heals or revives, or didn't do any canceling? Would Seer still be viable with the knowledge aspect, the wall aspect, the scanning around heartbeat aspect? I don't know. What do you think?
If he didn't cancel heals, I feel like that would definitely. That's one of the biggest things that I think had the big, had the impact. I think people would certainly feel like it is not the same Seer, and I think that might just be what you need. I think for someone to abandon a legend, sometimes it's more of the conceptual element of it. I mean, for instance, Horizon never, when she got nerfed so much, she went out of the meta, but she's the same Horizon that was nerfed now in this meta, right? And being very successful. Horizon has had basically no changes except negative ones, and has been played more since the negative changes than before. And so perceptually, oftentimes I think is more important than what a legend actually does, because really looking at legends in general, you don't get to know what they can do. You don't really see the full potential of a legend until the meta shifts towards them. Then you see why they could be or could not be broken, and that's when changes get made. However, the legend has existed in that state forever. So that's the whole point that I think it's very hard from a design perspective. A lot of these things ebb and flow based on the situation, and whether everyone starts to play it is when it becomes out of hand. And we've certainly seen the Seer hype train continue to roll on. I'm not sure if there is any stop soon, even though we've got the Winter Express stopping very shortly in Apex Legends as an LTM for the holidays, one of my favorites. But yeah, I think the Seer train will continue until there's some type of like perceptual shift. People go, yeah, you know what, I'm moving away. They keep nerfing Seer. I'm not trusting this. And that's another thing too, girl. I mean, this is just to get your thoughts on this. What do you do when you see a designer wants to make a legend bad? Do you keep investing your time as a team competitively and trying to make that legend work, knowing that right before champs, right before playoffs, maybe they get another nerf? Maybe it's like there's an element there that you consider too. What's your take on that?
Well, I think you're right. Like with the conceptions, you don't necessarily need to nerfs. Well, you can nerf someone for people to stop playing them, and that legend will still be viable. I think you're 100% right. Seer was nerfed as well. Same thing happened with Seer, where people stopped playing him for a little while. It's up to these pro players, like the ones that we're seeing now, to figure that out and to utilize them to their max potential.
Obviously, that's part of the challenge. We'll see if they can hold up to it. Always good to talk a little shop here in the Apex scene at things. And that will continue. All right, let's see what we've got going on here in terms of One Done Aqua. These middle games have been awfully quiet, haven't they, girl? We kind of see this amazing start and a lot of high pressure. And then it feels like it just backs down in our top 9 for this nice little crescendo. Northern backup Atmo seems to be where we will be heading towards this final zone, though. And we have not seen a zone like this. And hopefully it spells something positive for TXC and One Done Aqua. This would be a game that would be important for either of them. I think you would agree with me. They're in that position where they start to win games. They make a big difference in terms of the standings for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. They did win their 50-50 off drop. They have that momentum. Rosé's very good mechanically. So is their teammates Screamore and Taxi. It's just getting to that zone right now for them. Is it going to be tough with them being one of the later rotators? They got TXC right ahead of them. They're also going to encounter We Don't Play. So it's going to be tough for them. to figure their way in, but there is a lot of room. There's only 8 squads left, so as we were talking about it earlier, late rotating is okay when there are less squads. We've seen MNA, though, also one of our top leaderboard contestants. They actually ended up dying to AXFF. Sorry, I was writing that down earlier. Well, I saw that in the kill feed while you're asking me that question earlier. So
no worries.
And yeah, it's a hard zone to get to because there's going to be so much fighting happening in Gardens.
Certainly.
As we are going to see now, there's about 5 teams out of the 8 teams, I think. No, 4 teams out of the 8 teams in Gardens, so half the teams.
I love this zone, probably my favorite zone in Broken Moon. And Wundun Aqua not going to feel the same way about that. As 3 or more does go down, it's up to Fake Taxi 2G. Can he do what Taxi 2G does? Not this time. Fake, unfortunately, kind of being more the descriptor of the potential on this fight. Maybe not for even their sake. Wundun Aqua got caught in a very bad spot. Rose, the last one alive, and gets the med kit off. We'll need more than that, though, as it is the Festi who takes down the rest of Wundun Aqua, and that is AXFF, a team we've been calling on to have a performance. Romeo plays Mr. Namka and Mr. Carnova, still alive, our leaders of the lobby, with 70 points after 3. Clearing out second place by over double, which is 34 points. Having a essentially 36-point lead. Incredible to even think about that. They've got TXC in their sights as well. Very, very low and behind a rock. He's got to watch out for the flank happening here. Spell trouble for TXC. If he can't get out of sight long enough. And Mr. Namka's just like a beam. He doesn't have to be there. The R301 with a 2-4 girl doing such work for them and applying the pressure. Maybe Mr. Namka, though, bit off more than he could chew. Has to get out of there, and that's the benefits of the Bangalore. Hit the smoke and get back into safety, heal up, and go back into the fight.
Yeah, that's what I love about Bangalore. The double time kicks in, and it's so hard to die sometimes, especially with that smoke, like you said. And they do have a great position here, I feel like. They're going to smoke off TXC, and they're going to try and rotate ahead of them. Now, can they walk up this hill? Will that smoke be enough for them to survive? It looks like TXC is actually going to try and cut them off by taking that zip rail there. Very nice shots by Mr. Namka, but Mr. Namka doesn't have much cover to utilize here as he's going to pop those smokes and try and win this 1v1 in the smoke while he's getting shot at by the other team members. Woo! Very good line of sight. Shigum goes down. Namka survives with 1 HP. I feel like TXC is a little bit split up here because if they were with him, Namka would have ended up going down, but nobody survives from TXC as We Don't Play just annihilated them. Carnova with the RU-45 as well. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's the thing. They move so much, they fight so much. Not only do they have death boxes to pick from, but they also just get around the map a lot. They don't sit down, so they're having a higher likelihood of running into the care packages, which bring in those weapons that make a big difference. Maybe some of the most impactful weapons outside of the Kraber in the care package this season. I didn't feel like the G7 Scout, when it was in there, girl, had the same impact as an RE45 or even the Rampage here. I feel like when you get these weapons this season in the care package, it's almost like, yeah, you're not really going to win a fight against that one.
I agree with you 100%. The G7 Scout, that's something I used to pick up very much. Rampage, it's a hit or miss. I guess it depends if you really liked the Rampage back in the day, if you have enough space for it.
I was a Rampage, man. I love a Rampage.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
So do you pick Rampage up nowadays?
I do. I would love to, yeah. I'll use that all the time. I think the RE45 is still maybe a little bit better, though, in terms of its flexibility. Just those disruptor rounds, though. So good. You're absolutely right. I just think the lethality of both are things to consider. They've lost Romeo plays here, but they've got a mobile respawn that they're going to be able to drop. And they might have both dropped mobile respawns right there. Just both too fast on the trigger. I believe that is exactly what happened. And they only need to use one of them, though. And they'll get Romeo plays back.
Yeah, they might get Romeo back, but AXFF look like they're headed right towards that revive. Oh no, they actually got caught. There is a team behind them, actually shooting them from behind, so There's another fight, 2-minute esports. Very nice car SMG shots. Unfortunately, the G7 Scout couldn't connect just yet. Can they connect? About right now.
Woo!
Gets the crack off. So she must be really low on flesh after all that damage that they output.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. You just love seeing a G7 Scout go to work. I know it wasn't talked about highly just a second ago in the care package, but outside of it, as a standard weapon, one of the best in the game. In the game. It's 2-minute esport here, maybe having a coming out party. Celebrating a top 5. Can they go just one more? Seems like it's not going to be actually too much of their choice. As AXFF team and Mr. Namka also finding kills here. This zone is going to hurt. And so it's just about getting ahead of these bullets there. It's going to force them into the open. Gravity lift. Aerial TV. Can they be found? Not quite yet. AXFF team still on the hunt. Do not overcommit to this. Got to be careful. There's 4 teams pushing from the zone into zone now. It is going to be Calamity on the left side as the exhibit comes out, and for good use. As we see the old Hunters and 2-minute esports eliminated just like that. We are in our final 3. It's AXFF. It is We Don't Play, and it is SARS FPS as a solo.
Oh, as a solo. Okay. Is SARS going to be able to survive to second? We don't know, but We Don't Play aren't really taking a look at this very slowly. That's SARS, I think, eliminated Red Fade, making themselves to 3rd place, which is pretty good. 7 placement points for that. But hey, take a look at this 3v3. We Don't Play. Carnova going up in the air. Gravity lift. Going with the Havoc. Very nice shots. Does he have enough shots in the RU-45? Yes, he does. We Don't Play. End up taking them out in just seconds.
It's just not even fair. It's not even fair. We Don't Play. Do it again. And sometimes you see these lobbies go quickly. This lobby's going at the exact same pace, but at the end, it's all like before. We Don't Play. Take down yet another game here. We thought it was going to be Viper Squadrons who had a chance to match them up with 2. But no, We Don't Play. Take their 3rd of the day. The only other team beside Viper Squadrons to have won a game, and they have won 3 of 4. Now we've got 5 coming up. But girl, We Don't Play. Not enough to say about them. They just aren't going to lose.
So actually, earlier on, AXFF were going to push that revive, but the old Hunters ended up shooting them in the back. That was like the saving grace for them, I feel like. I would have loved to see that play out. But We Don't Play, just dominating every single game. Back-to-back weeks, okay? Back-to-back wild cards. They have gotten 3 wins out of 5. They have only got 1 game left to see if they can break that record.
And I just don't know what their motivation is going to be now. Knowing that they're going to be taking 1st place just after the results now, I'm not sure if they're going to try to push it, if they're going to try to continue. Will they try to be even riskier than they were before? Throw some chaos into the mix? They've almost guaranteed their $600 here. But it started off pretty well. One done Aqua. They ended up making it decently far. And, you know, this was a game with a decent amount of action from the very beginning. But that late game, it just ended up being all We Don't Play.
Yeah, One Done ended up getting caught out here on the low ground, and TXC as well having to take this 50-50. Namka seemed to be in a bad position, but turning around with this car SMG, with the movement and the double time, Shigum actually gave up maybe a little bit too fast right there. He might have been able to win that 1v1, but unfortunately for TXC, they did end up going down. They weren't able to get ahead of the game there. We Don't Play, like you said, they just never stopped. They took down the solo, and immediately right after, AXFF, with that Turbo Havoc, though, so much damage, so many kills as well.
I think Carnova had the biggest game that we've seen anybody have on We Don't Play, and with 8 kills, I'm pretty sure he also had the RE45. So if that doesn't give you an indicator of how valuable that weapon is, 8 kills should. 1,300 damage as well, nearly topping it. Romeo Plays just edging them out, now back in the lobby. But let's see, 16 plus 12.
28.
That puts us into a 20. Hey, girl, look at you.
I did my math.
Right,
I did my math. Even with a pen and paper, actually.
Oh, wow. Dang, okay, all right. Hey, hopefully we're not doing division.
16 plus 12, 28.
Carry the 1. Yeah, no, we're excited for them. They're going to have another knockout game. That should put them at 98 points. So certainly
Wow,
one of our
what?
highest totals ever.
No way.
And
Are you
just
doing that math correct? 98 already?
yeah, and with another game to play. I mean, this is higher than, ALGS
Oh.
Pro teams get in terms of 6 games played on the day. We've seen Ascend come close, though. They've done a good job of it, and they actually have beat this record, surprisingly, but 98. Wow, what can you say? I really do want to, though, look at 2nd through 7th. What's the story here, girl?
All right, so we've got Viper Squadron. They still maintain second, even though they lost their 50-50 to the third place team, One Dome Aqua. So this is very tight. Whoever wins this last 50-50, if they decide to take it, is going to maybe determine who gets second place. M&A, they died a bit early to AXFF. That's what I wrote. Yep, AXFF took them out, and AXFF is climbing up the leaderboard. They weren't in our top 10 in the very beginning, but take a look at them now. We knew they had that potential. Now, these are the teams that have been lacking. Apex King Killer weren't able to do so much in these games. Hakim's, they ended up doing good. They got some points. They got 5 eliminations, but they're not getting the placement points that they need.
I just feel like that's really the tale of two different sides of this tournament, right? Because everybody's winning money top 1 through 4. We already know first place is going to go to We Don't Play unless they, I guess, take themselves out of the tournament at this point. That's certainly going to happen. But second place, all the way from 4th, is up for grabs. Who will grab it? We'll find out. We're going to break, but we will be back with our final Game 5 to finish the day. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed your little break. We are here with our PlayStation Tournament's Wild Card Day for Apex Masters Circuit. My name is Rain Day, and I'm joined by Girl, who is going to be helping us lead into our final game of the day, setting the table for what is a dominant performance from We Don't Play, but gives us a little bit of hope for our seventh to second place teams to be able to make a big move here and secure some cash prizing.
All right, so everyone note this down in your heads. Viper Squadron 35, and that's a 4-point difference with One Dome Aqua at 31. We Don't Play, they're leading the way with 98. MNA, they still have a chance, okay? The Old Hunters also still have a chance to fight for that second place prize with 26 and 25 points. Same with FMA and Red Fate. It's very tight, and it's first to fourth who get cash prizes. So we're going to make sure that we keep our eyes out on those teams specifically.
Legit Crew, 2-minute Esport, Hakeem's Apex King Killer, probably in a tough spot here. And of course, that is okay. You know, this is all happening from compete.playstation.com, and these teams being ready to activate their opportunities for themselves to take the world by storm, to grab the chance to compete and then to do it. It's not easy to actually get all those pieces together, but it is simple, and that's why we always direct you to compete.playstation.com if you want to get involved. All right, let's head into the ideas of Game 5. Really, you know, We Don't Play. They put on a masterclass. Nothing else to say about that. Unfortunately, for those who want a little bit more drama, this isn't what first place is going to give us. But second through 7, I want to walk through those stats again. I took a little picture of them. We got Viper Squadron at 35, so they're second place, right, girl? But 4 points behind them for second, which is $300. That's where One Done Aqua is sitting. And then you look at 5 points behind them. You've got M&A in fourth place. So that's where the money is. One Done Aqua, M&A, Viper Squadron. Now let's look at the teams that could get in there, because 26 points, that's the limit of the money. 25 points is fifth. That's the Old Hunters. 1 point away. You've also got FMA Titans, who've been playing well and better over the day. 24 points, so 2 points away. They're tied with Red Fate. 2 points away, too. So those are the teams you've got to look out for. And also, AXFF team, TXC. If Sarah Sutcliffe and them put on a big win here, sitting at 15 points, that's certainly going to put them in a position of third, fourth place, maybe even second if it's a big enough win. So anybody in our top 10, if they perform today in this final game, is going to have a chance to get into the money and make some big moves.
That's the amazing thing about Apex Legends, and it's the amazing thing about being a very top-heavy first-place team. As long as they keep winning, racking up the points, everyone else is close together. So it makes it exciting for them, at least, to be able to contest for that second, third, and fourth place position. And here we go. In about 1 minute, we're going to see a 50-50, potentially, between One Dome Aqua and Viper Squadron. If you're just tuning in, if you're late to the show, they have been taking 50-50s off drop, and One Dome has won a couple, Viper Squadron has won a couple. This is the last game. No one's able to win anymore after this one until the next Wildcards Day. So it's really all up to this moment. Are we going to see legend changes? I wonder. If you're taking a 50-50, would you change your legend?
I would probably focus on my 50-50, because I know that if I'm Viper Squadron, right, I give everyone the run of the table if I die, right? So if I'm going to still take that 50-50 and if things aren't working, I think what we do is we either switch a legend or we hard commit and work completely in just strategy. That's all we do. It has clearly not worked for them. They've been on the low ground versus the high ground a lot of times in that fight. And so maybe just being more aggressive on getting the high ground. That's what we got to pay attention to, though, girl. That is where the action is going to be. That is what is going to tell the tale of the rest of this game. Just seeing if Viper Squadron and, oh, look at this. Viper Squadron by themselves at Atmos Station. Is this a late drop from Maddie Fonzie and Mr. Step? It might just be. And where are they going? Maybe Bionomics here. I can see it on our screen. You can see Maddie Fonzie, Step. They are moving fast. They're actually going to go into Terraformers with Hakeem's. And so they're going to hold. You said there's enough loot for 3 teams here. There's going to be 2 at Terraformer. And that is the team that has been fighting against Viper Squadrons. They're going to let them have it. and they're going to go ahead and challenge Hakeem's.
Really smart of them, eh? To try and get that early KP.
There's 3 teams there.
Oh, there are 3 teams. Yeah, so the 3 teams. One's actually getting chased, though, but I don't know if Maddie knows. So Maddie's on the zip line. He's chasing KLS, but there are 3 teams there, and if he gets caught out, Hakeem's, one of our, teams on the bottom of the leaderboard, could potentially take him out. So he's got to be worried about that, but he's going for it. 1v1. Both of them left their teams and went across that zip rail. KLS is going to lead him into Atmo Station.
God.
Maddie's going to chase him all the way into Atmo Station, where Viper Squadron lies. This is some intense action and drama right now. Maddie down to 10 HP. What's going on?
Well, as they were trying to secure some KP, NLMA, a team we have talked very little about, end up taking down Maddie with the punch. Not going to get the shield swap, but guess what? It is MNA now. Even though they've recovered the banner and probably going to get some KP off of this, losing Maddie. And have they gone close enough to Viper Squadron for Viper Squadron to feel that it's worth pushing someone who already has it down? You can see Dominus. You can see Biohazards on that edge, but it doesn't look like they're poking. That is an interesting turn of events. Should be relatively simple for Maddie to get back in. There's plenty of respawn beacons now, but they're rocking as a 2, so they've got to be very, very careful. Heading back to maybe Terraformer, taking an eye on that, and that story you can see on that low ground is where the rest of Maddie now getting challenged again by Hakeem's, who they had decided to share the space with. So what a journey. They got kicked out of Atmos Station, felt it wasn't worth it, too much on the line. We don't want to risk a 50-50, and I think that's smart. Viper Squadron stuck to their guns. They were willing to do it, but it ended up being M&A who made the move, and now they've got to deliver Maddie to a beacon, or they've got to find a mobile respawn beacon and utilize that soon.
I wonder where one Don Aqua ended up going on the map. But they may have found themselves a decent position. Do you see them on the map right now?
Great question here.
Oh, right, core.
Yep. Right there. Taxi 2G, Griamore, and the Rosie. Near AXFF, by the way, the Festi, Last Arrows, and Dave. A little bit of patience here. I think this is the the latest we have seen 12 squads still alive, and that's because, of course, the 50-50s that were avoided. And even though we saw a little skirmish, there was not a down. There was not a finish. But we will also note that this is the last game, and teams are going to be a lot more conservative, especially when you know one win, one big game means you're in the money, means that everything that you put forward today, yes, you got a seat in the seasonal final, that's awesome, but can you have something to show for it at the end of today? Can you have a result? And that's what top 4 is. So still a lot to fight for all of these teams.
Truly. Hakeem's have not given up. They're doing their best in this game. In the middle of the map, so it might attract a lot of people if they do end up fighting. And this is what I call pomegranate. Promenade. do you say promenade or promenade?
I think you could say either. I say promenade, though.
Promenade.
I say promenade, it's just... do you say promenade?
No, I
like
say
lemonade?
pomegranate.
Oh, you say pomegranate. Yeah, that's another choice. I'm okay with that.
That's my new nickname for this POI, where everybody seems to die, and everybody seems to be attracted to fighting here. So the teams might be the first team to do so. And it might be against the old Hunters. But it might be a slow and steady fight as they are continuing to loot. Teams is not in a rush to get any kills as of yet. Too many esports, though. They're actually getting charge rifle from across the map. Throw key will have to heal up. Shield battery underway. And they're getting pressured. Oh, and that's by we don't play. Okay, now I understand the amount of pressure coming on in.
2-minute esport almost in trouble. Twitch Flojo gets around. And we'll have just the smallest of covers to get a shield battery off and might just be able to surprise it. This is your moment. Oh, no. Did a lot of damage, though. Let's look at Mr. Carnova. That's the type of 1v1. If you could win that, that sets the tone for the rest of your team to maybe make it happen. It was very, very close. Nearby is TXC. And this is definitely a fight that people want to get involved in. And look at this. We got Viper Squadrons. We've got That Noise. We've got TXC. All engaged. Excuse me. Eternal Gardens is where Mr. Nampa just finished that off. But looking at TXC, they've got a 3-team melee going on. Oh, in the last shot. Put it in a single fire and send them back to the lobby. M&A eliminated. TXC with another kill. This could be the moment that turns the tide for them. 15 points is what they were sitting on. 10th place. But one of our favorites coming into the day. A big 20-point game could certainly put them into top 3, top 4, and into the money. We'll follow along with that as we head over to We Don't Play. 11 squads still left. Round 1 closing up. Again, a patient performance here in our final game of the day. But confidence all around for our winners of 3 out of the 4 so far. We Don't Play.
M&A might lose that top 4 position that they were in. Were they in 4th place before this game?
M&A, they were in 4th place. That's right.
Yeah, so I think they lost that money.
Dang, that is tough.
Most likely off of that fight there. So unfortunately for them, they've lost it, but a couple of our top 3 teams are about to fight. One Don't Aqua being one of them. Ulti is going to go through there. Rosé's going to get the knock on Zenitsu there. Very nice shots in the scout in the air. He actually connects one of them. Those are very hard shots to hit. But Rosé peeking down 2 from FMA, another formidable team. But unfortunately for them, they got ambushed by one Don, and one Don nest themselves 2 more points. Let's try and maintain that top 2, top 3 era that they've got going on.
Top 3 for One Done Aqua, 31 points. They actually are a team that has separated themselves from 4th place and beyond by at least 5 points. So that's got to be feeling good for them. All 3 on purples, all 3 nearing into the top 10, and already 2 kills at least to their name, looking for a 3rd. Very, very solid performance from them so far. M&A, as we mentioned, is out. Old Hunters, FMA Titans. I believe FMA might have fallen just, or at least lost 2 of the 3. We still got Red Fade, AXFF team, NLMA. We kind of played spoiler a little bit earlier. That's a team in 9th place. And then, of course, TXC. Maybe the biggest name here alongside Viper Squadron. We would have hoped to see Viper Squadron vie for first. It's not going to happen after they went out pretty early in game number 4. What we can see them do, though, is secure 2nd. And that is $300 in comparison to the $150 each from 3rd and 4th. And so if Viper Squadron want to do that, they've got to make sure they survive longer than One Done Aqua. And right now, One Done Aqua only 4 points behind Viper Squadron. Make it 3 kills now. Certainly, if they do better in this game, if they win in this game, they've already put themselves in position to overtake 2nd.
Yeah, and they're playing it quite the opposite of Viper Squadron. So on my map, I see Viper Squadron in cultivation, playing for end zone, playing for the win, making sure that they don't die out early. And then One Done Aqua, they're on the edge. They're looking for kills. They're getting a team wipe and trying to catch up via kills. And we'll see if they make that rotation or continue to go for kills. That is up to them going forward. But We Don't Play on the other hand. Oh my goodness. Is that Hakim's? Is that Hakim's going to fall down from the sky? I think it is. These shots with the Turbo Havoc. So hard to hit, but he's hitting every shot. There is another knock going for We Don't Play, and that's just going to put them at the 100 mark.
Just so much damage, too. Even though they are hard to hit, you got that little delay. The turbocharger obviously makes that much less of an issue, but still, when they do hit, they hurt. Carnova could be in trouble. I like the gravity lift attempt. Throws it just outside of him so he can kind of delay on the shield battery, use the cover down below if possible, get comms from the team, and then get up when needed. Wants to hit a med kit as well. They played this actually for I believe this is near where our end game ended in game number 3. But they're going to be on the left side of this now, not be coming on the bottom ground like they did before. AXFF, they've got to watch out too. They're sitting at 18 points. If they could somehow get some points from Namka, we don't play, that would be massive in their chances of getting into the top 3. We don't play, considering trying to aggress here and maybe just saying, you know what, we're going to Valkyrie Skyward Dive. We're just going to stay in the zone for a little bit. And we're going to get in a building maybe. Bangalore Ultimate changing their mind, heal up, make sure we're ready to go, and then make a big rotate.
Yeah, they don't want the barrage to end up ruining their Skyward Dive, so they waited it out. They're all quite low HP though, so hopping on this ultimate right now is a little bit questionable, but they canceled. They're going to heal and go forward. Yeah, you definitely don't want to pop it while you're too low of HP because there's no heat shields in tournaments, all right? There's heat shields in ranked games or in pubs, but there's no heat shields in tournaments. So when they fall and they need to pop that syringe, if they don't have time, they don't have a heat shield as a saving grace. So they're going to opt to walk it in. They are quite far behind, though. They got a ways to go. And they're just looking for heals and ammo as they walk on in. And like I said again, Viper Squadron still one of the only teams in cultivation. Although I see one Donaqua walking over. We don't play. They're just going to loot. They're going to make their way over. Have a few kills, but it's going to be slow from here. Actually, it's fun to see that our last game, because it's so intense, because so many teams are so close on points, we've still got 10 squads left.
I know.
Most of our games went a lot faster than this, but because now it's so intense, and we don't play, they want their 4th win. They want to beat that high score that they got. They want to hop off game. They want to post this on their social media. So you're going to see them flying on in. Oh my goodness, what do we have here? Sarah Sutcliffe, what are you doing?
Hakeem's eliminated. Raymond finding Hakeem 1.
Got a bad one over there.
Sarah on the rampart. It wasn't working before. Well, the ultimate. Let's try this. On display from TXC. They know they need a big game. Will this legend swap do it? We don't know, but they're up against a team that you probably don't want to experiment against. That's we don't play on the high ground. Still on the bottom side of things. Let's see who's alive. I think we have the Rose.
One Donaqua.
Greenmore. Yep, one Donaqua still alive. We've got AXFF still alive. When you really think about it, Viper Squadron 2, they're holding a building in the middle of cultivation. Rose and one Donaqua holding a building on the northern side of it. And you've got AXFF, you've got TXC, you've got We Don't Play playing Edge. So they'll be rotating in a little bit late. However, it's really, when you talk about the comparison here, it's Viper Squadron and one Donaqua who are hoping that the other desperately goes down here.
Yeah.
Playing a little bit of, I don't know, just last man standing, because that's essentially going to determine second.
Oh, it's TXC actually gatekeeping We Don't Play. We talked about it earlier. They were in the zone for so long, and TXC might be trying to get some extra kills here on the edge. They might have noticed that it was We Don't Play. Now they're giving them a lot of space to come on in. But We Don't Play, they're going to end up walking in. Sarah Sutcliffe, do I take this? Do I not take this? She takes it. The Rampage, they made a new addition to it. So when you pick up the Rampage, it's already fully charged. And it stays fully charged until you go for your first shot. They also got a Kraber. TXC have 2 care package weapons, minimal. XFF was eliminated. Rose and co. Oh my goodness, they're actually going to get third party. No, Viper Squadron ended up going down on Dominus. Not all of them down, but one of them down. But that's not looking good for Viper Squadron, especially with one Donaqua taking down a full team in the vicinity.
Red Fade falling as well. That's a big note to remember that Red Fade was a team in 7th place wanting to get up and try to vie for that 3rd and 4th. That's not going to happen this time around. TXC, though, they maybe are on pace to have a little bit of pressure. Another top 10 team in LMA sitting 9th ahead of TXC is going to be a problem. So you can expect TXC to move ahead of them if they keep this up and just barricading this area. It's just hard to deal with when you have someone who from that range can do 100 damage on you pretty consistently. Almost anytime you get into the sights of We Don't Play and Mr. Namka, you're going to take more than half your health. And that is just the threat that they bring to it. Sometimes there's a lot of strategy we get into with Apex, and it's not about a strategy. It's about this person just hits all their shots. And as any FPS fan will tell you, that tends to be the determining factor of whether you keep winning. Namka
Near me.
taking some return damage, though, as we were in a top 4. So we have Wunda Aqua and Viper Squadron still alive, trying to stay. Viper Squadron on the back, south side. As We Don't Play, and TXC going up at it. TXC with the new addition to the Rampart, saying we know that we're going to have to play defensive here. We're playing for placement. We're playing for a big win. 20 points might just put us into the top 3 or 4, maybe even top 2. But that means we've got to play perfectly. And so far, 3 Rampart walls, not enough to stop the onslaught that is We Don't Play. Maybe this will. As she brings out the ultimate, Sarah, ready to fire on anyone who wants to challenge that line.
Target over there.
Unfortunately for Sarah, she does not have any more thermites. So it will be a slow shooting rampage for the time being. But they have a really good building and zone, and they have the rampart cover to help with that. Just gonna try and shoot a little bit at one Don't Aqua, I believe. Viper Squadron are still in here, but they're a duo, and I'm not quite sure if they got banner. I'm not quite sure if they can go for a revive. I don't see any respawn beacons whatsoever, but they might be able to find one as a saving grace. TXC doing very good damage, and We Don't Play is actually trying to pinch one Don't Aqua, so this is not looking good for them.
Look at this push, though. Look at this pull. The circle is going to actually favor Wunda Aqua, and We Don't Play. It is not going to favor TXC. They're going to have to move, and when they move, they're going to be vying for the same spot unless they take a wide approach into We Don't Play. That biohazard, and you can see they're kind of calling it out there. That is where Viper Squadron is hiding, just to the left of where TXC is. So they've got to share this. This is that 48 seconds where everything starts to matter, because you push this, you grab 2 KP, you take that spot, you clear your back. I think this is the only choice they have. I don't believe that Wunda Aqua is going to want to push to the backside, knowing that We Don't Play is staring at them. So I think this is the right move from TXC. They just go for it. They're trying to find enough damage, but you got to make this fight happen quickly. And at least at the end of the day, if you are the one who's initiating the fight, you could take them out of that backside and be the one aggressing from the back, forcing them into the other teams, hoping for a miracle here. TXC are giving everything to it. They get 1, they get 2, and Viper Squadrons is out. This is big for TXC, but they've got to heal now with 10 seconds left here in round 5. And it is just Wunda Aqua and Viper Squadron ahead. Shigumi's going straight in, back to the building they were, but is this the smartest play? They've got to survive Wunda Aqua, and Wunda Aqua right now already taking 1 player down from We Don't Play.
Wunda and Aqua are actually popping off, but TXC is going to come in here and potentially clean all of this up. We're going to see Shigum pulls up the R301. What can they end up doing? Is We Don't Play getting a recovery? Are they getting a revive while all this is happening? I'm not 100% sure. I just see TXC taking the building, TXC taking the best spot. Wunda Aqua, are they they're right under?
They certainly might be. 3 squads here, and it is We Don't Play, Wunda Aqua, who have outlasted Viper Squadrons. That was their mini game. We knew if they wanted to have a chance. And TXC, oh no, is this just too late? Oh boy, they have had a lot to chew here, and they have done a decent job. Did they get to the money? That's the question. And will they end up taking this game? We Don't Play and Mr. Namka say no. Wunda Aqua are out, and We Don't Play take 4 out of 5. And they put an emphatic exclamation point, no, a period, at the end of their performance today. If you wanted to know who it was all about, it was them.
It truly was an incredible game. Again, with that recovery there at the end, putting themselves in a position where It didn't seem like it was a favorable spot because it was all in the open field, but nobody ended up taking that spot, leaving them in a great spot to recover and take that third party. Mr. Namka was a highlight for me personally. That Bangalore staying alive, fighting till the death mentality was really fun to see.
Oh, and it was just a classic showcase of how they're so flexible in these fights. It was really a moment where they got pushed in. They had to engage with One Done Aqua before, but they were able to get out of that fight. They then allowed TXC to push in and take that spot that they had, and then they were able to initiate and de-initiate and then get back into it. It was just really a masterclass. No other way to describe it. The flexibility and the way this lineup works for them. The Bangalore being kind of the centerpiece for me with Mr. Namka, but adding the Valkyrie and adding the Horizon with just the way that they play. It's so aggressive. It's so hard. You know, big shout outs though to TXC. I think they put on a valiant effort. Top 3, maybe even top 2. It was everything that they kind of needed to do. I'm not sure it was enough to get into the money. We know it's at least 7 points. 9 points might make me confident they could get there because they had a few kills on their side. But if they got third, which they didn't, it looks like they got second. I don't know. The TXC might have done enough here, and that would have been a good story for me, going from 10th to in the cash prizing. That would have been big.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, if that was possible for them, because I think One Done Aqua got 2 to 3 team wipes, so they did get a lot of kills that game. We're about to find out, but let's take a look at these statistics, okay? 6 kills, 9 kills, 13 kills,
I think
25-point gain.
Huge game. They're going to be over 115 points. An incredible performance from We Don't Play. But I think TXC, if my math is close to right, and M&A didn't have some crazy kills I wasn't thinking about, I think they've done enough to get over 26 points. This is Legit Crew, 2-Minute Esport, Hakeem's and Apex King Killer on the 11th to 14th side. They will round out our bottom 4 of the day. But our top 10, did TXC do enough? They did! Oh my goodness, got into the money by 2 points after the performance. And if they had gotten third place, they would not have matched and beaten the Old Hunters. They would have matched those points and probably less, because it might have been a kill that they added on as well, helping to finish off one of those players that would have still been up and not fully finished. So I think TXC, wow, what a performance. Take your hat off that after a rough start. Being where we wanted. Viper Squadron, One Done Aqua holding on above Viper Squadron. Congrats to them on making that move, and We Don't Play. Girl, wow.
Amazing, incredible. TXT is also the ones that ended up putting the nail in the coffin for Viper Squadron. Unfortunately, when they were a duo, they try to ride it out as much as they can, but the awareness of TXT in that game as well was incredible, phenomenal from them to notice there's a duo. I think they're over here. Let's kill them. Let's get some more kills and placement points. And that really solidified putting them in the money against the Old Hunters and ahead of them. And it also was able to give room for One Done Aqua. You got to give it to them. They won a couple back-to-back fights there in the end game, and they played very aggressive throughout that whole, because they knew they needed to close the gap between them and Viper Squadron, and they did so. So great showing from them. This is the schedule for Apex Legends Master Circuit Wildcards Qualifier 2, December 2nd. That's today. We're going to see NA being played out December 12th at 11 a.m. PT for qualifier number 3. December 17th, 9 a.m. PT for qualifier 4. And the Season 3 finals. Make sure you put this on your calendar, folks. The PlayStation Apex Legends Master Circuit, January 7th at 9 a.m. PT.
What a day it has been. We Don't Play. Take the win here in our first game, our second tournament here of our Master Circuit, our first tournament of the day. And if you're interested in following along with what we've got upcoming outside of Apex, we've got a PS Access Rumble, Dragon Ball Fighters Fight Nights, Street Fighter Fight Nights as well, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Fight Nights, Madden 23 Last Chance Qualifier, and Fight Nights for Tekken 7. All of that this month in December. Check the schedule and check compete.playstation.com to be aware of all that we've got upcoming, and of course all of our Apex Legends action with myself and Girl here in the Master Circuit.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful showing from all of these teams, and I could definitely see all of the improvement. Thank you to everyone that's showed up today that have been competing, and there's so many other games, so definitely make sure to check out the link, compete.playstation.com, because there's so many wonderful events that PlayStation's been putting on for the community lately.
And you know, girl, there's another way that the community can engage with one another.
And how might that be, Rain Day?
Well, I'll leave you to tell us about it. It's the new Discord.
Yeah. Oh, the new Discord. Join the PlayStation Tournament's community Discord to find regular updates on esports events, articles, videos, and meet others to improve your game with. The PlayStation Tournament's community Discord regularly hosts play sessions, interviews with figures in the community, and other special content. So make sure you scan that QR code there with your phones, and you will get a direct link into the Discord. Do that right now. We'll give you a couple seconds to do so. If not, there is a VOD to go back in, clip it, take a picture, definitely get that scanned through.
Make sure to join us over there in Discord if you are one of our Discord users. Also, want to give you a reminder about the Win-a-thon. That is happening all through December and January. Rack up wins in PlayStation tournaments through those months for a chance to win prizes like the new DualSense Edge controller or PS5 console. Sign up on console and start competing for prizes today. Full rules can be read on compete.playstation.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been Rain Day. It has been Girl. What a fantastic day of Apex Legends in our Master Circuit. But we're not done. In just a little bit, we're coming back with North America. We're going to see your favorite teams vie again for a chance at some cash prizing and glory and some seats in our seasonal final on January 7th. All coming up very soon. Appreciate everyone who's been around. Thank you, chat, for watching. Everyone engaging. And remember to never give up, never stop gaming. We'll see you all very soon.